now. You don't even seem to understand the show. You just ruin everything. You got to be funny in here. I can't wait for you guys to see this on Howard TV.
Daily shows, classics, and exclusive behind-the-scenes access.
Well, that's going to be on Howard TV.
The funniest, sexiest, most star-studded network on TV is Howard TV On Demand.
Hey Stern fans, welcome to Fine Time, the show where you, the fans, get the opportunity to ask questions and interact with your favorite Stern Show staffers, Whack Packers, and celebrity superfans. I'm your host, Rachel Fine. Now, my guest today is someone who has a lot to say. Unfortunately, whenever he tries to say it, all that comes out is, whatever. Since he started working for Howard, he has started drinking. He has had a complete makeover. He spent thousands of dollars on webcam porn. He has directed a smash hit, Super Twink. He has been mugged on a subway, and he has lost his virginity. He's known as a hard worker, and he loves beer pong and video games and ladies with big, giant, round asses. Please join me in welcoming the man who fascinates Howard Stern and who will no doubt be horribly uncomfortable during this interview. The one, the only, the badass himself, J.D. Harmeyer. How's it going, J.D.?
Thank you for bringing up all my fine points in my career so far.
You've earned that introduction.
I did not direct Super Twink. I just want to make that distinction.
Let's straighten this up for IMDb right now.
That project got taken out of my hands quite fast.
So you lost its artistic vision?
I just starred in it, and Richard and Sal, they sort of took the reins over on that thing.
Okay, well, you're off the director reel. Can I ask why there's a giant, is this your avoidance of women between you? Why is there a giant pillar between us?
I have a bit of a cold, so I'm trying to keep distance, but if you want to, if you care to get closer to me, please.
I don't want your cold, but I am going to say,
by all means.
I'm going to just squeeze it a little bit. I think you're safe without the pillow there.
Yeah, okay.
We got a lot of questions for you, and I'm going to jump right in.
Alrighty.
Todd N. asks, it would seem your skills are a bit limited. What type of job do you hope to get after Howard retires? Have you thought of any places you might apply to?
Of course. Listen, I don't already sound like an idiot.
It's already profound. It's already verbally profound.
Of course, I thought about the future after the show. I don't know, my skills are limited, as some people would say. But if there's definitely different places that use clips and different things. There's different websites. There's different shows. But who knows where other people will go around here. Maybe I'll work with them doing something. I don't know.
So you're counting on one of them to play?
I'm not counting on anything. I'm just saying. So that's it.
Awesome. This is gold.
All right. So.
Next one's from @Ringet72. They ask, what happened to you that makes you afraid of people? It seems you have zero confidence with strangers.
I wasn't very popular in school. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't popular in school. I was probably bullied a couple times. Not like hardcore, but I don't know. I don't know what. I don't know.
I like when I don't respond. He just keeps going.
Yeah.
This is
I'm
awesome.
trying to stop the silence.
Next question is
silence is deafening.
I am going to rely on that.
Yeah,
Next question is from Stephanie and N. She asks, what is your favorite moment working on the Stern Show after all these years? And if you could change anything about the job, what would it be?
If I could change anything about the job. I don't know. I like working here. I wish I didn't have to divulge or didn't feel the need to divulge so much information about myself.
Okay.
But that sort of goes along with the territory, I guess. And the favorite moment on the show, geez. God, there's so many. I don't even know what happened yesterday, for Christ's sake. I did like feeling the Florida chick's ass.
Okay.
Remember that.
I know you like a big ass.
Like a big ass? I don't know. Reading Winter. That was definitely one of the best times I think I had.
Winter is when there are no leaves on the trees. Winter is when we say goodbye to the birds.
Fantastic. You're great at poetry reciting.
Oh, thank you.
Question from @Traced_Inc. asks, do you like Robin's or Rachel's boobs more?
Robin's or Rachel's boobs more? Well, I haven't seen much of Robin's boobs lately. So I'll say Rachel's.
Thank you.
Even though I haven't stared at him once.
I noticed how this guy's not even making eye contact with me, let alone boob contact. Straight ahead.
Your beauty would just confuse me. I'm already confused enough, so I'm just.
We need you at 100.
I'm focusing on Chris and Robert's crotches over here.
And we've already learned another profound truth.
There you go.
Next question.
I'm not focusing on the crotches.
Right. He's totally staring at them.
I'm staring at your just now. There
just
you go.
For you. F, Mary, kill. Lisa G, Rachel Fine, Robin Quivers.
Oh, Christ. Well, I do seem to remember someone's F, Mary, kill recently where they decided to kill me.
JD, it's not that I want to kill you because I really like you too, so don't get all pissed off that everyone kills you.
He will be pissed.
I know, and I don't want you to because I like you.
He
you're
will be
a sweetheart, and I enjoy you quite a bit. I just think that I'm closer with the other two, so this is not about you, JD, and I really do want you to get laid and married and have the other options besides being killed off. I felt like I might get payback for this.
Jason and Benji again.
Okay, but I specifically clarified in there.
Hello, whose fine time is
Okay,
this?
go ahead.
It's my fine time.
It was not out of meanness. It's not out of love for you.
It doesn't matter.
Does that mean I get automatically
Killing
killed?
Lisa G.
All right.
Killing Lisa G.
Sorry, Lisa.
She's like a mom to me, for Christ's sake.
And you would kill your mom?
No.
Well, so you're saying.
This is F, Mary, kill.
Okay.
If I had to kill someone, it would be Lisa
You can't
G.
bang or marry your mom. I gotcha.
And, probably marry Robin. And you. So there you go.
That was a pickup line. I liked it. Genius is dead asks, do you feel that you and Howard are developing a father-son relationship? And are you confident that Howard will help you find a job in media after Sirius ends?
I try not to, people, if I started, believing, how much Howard was trying to be his dad or something, I just think that would be, I would feel douchey or something. I just think that something like that would go to my head, I could do no wrong in Howard's eyes or something.
You keep it humble.
Yes, so I try not to think about that. As far as after, I don't. If he does nothing, then I don't know if he'd help me. I don't know. I never thought about it.
Give it a minute. All right. Next question from.
Wipe my nose.
I'm about to put the pillow back between us.
I told you.
Next question from DZ. DS. Do you like when fans approach you for pictures and autographs?
To be honest, listen, yes and no. It's nice to be recognized and people like you and stuff. But it's awkward for me I don't like any pictures taken of me, period. But it's all, having people treat you like a celebrity or something, like you're someone, is very odd to me. So it's very uncomfortable. But I don't, it's like excuse me. If it happens a lot, like I was at this block party show and people were just coming up to me left and right, and yeah, that can be a little much. I can't go up there because there's people overrunning that place. But it's fine. I take pictures and stuff.
Do you mind getting recognized in the street?
Do I mind?
Do you like?
No, I mean if it happens, it happens. I don't certainly seek it out. So it's like I said, it's very awkward. I'm not used to it. And I just don't feel famous or anything. It rarely happens anyway, unless I'm at a certain event. It rarely happens.
Okay. Question from @Carwood22. It's pretty famous. It's pretty famous.
God help famous.
Carwood22 asks, if you could change one thing in your life, what would it be?
I could change one. Probably that I wasn't so lazy so much.
Okay.
I would tend, if I'm not working, I'm very lazy. I'm like the polar opposite of, here I try and get what I can done and stuff. But when I'm not here and if I'm at home, I don't do. And I wish I could, push myself to do more things.
Is it just because you're uncomfortable to go outside and do something, or is it?
There's that,
motivated,
and other career aspirations that I might have.
Like what?
I've talked about making movies and stuff before, which I'm not talking about anymore. But there's the sense of I don't want to fail at something and be seen as a failure and be made fun of as a failure and stuff like that. So
it gets easier to stay in the house.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha. That's sad. I think you can change that. That's a changeable thing.
I hope so.
At Beaver City asks, did you ever take speech therapy classes? And what is your favorite part of being on the Stern Show? So let's take those one at a time. Did you ever take speech therapy classes?
No, not speech therapy, no. I've taken English classes in high school and stuff.
No one ever addressed your ability to put words together?
No, I can put words together fine sometimes.
Listen, I'm not, it was shorter than what, it's all right now. It's like, what do you want? I don't know. What is going on? Something like that.
I think if you watch this on the replay.
I don't care. I'm not going to watch it.
You're missing out on
Oh, God, no.
When you would never look into doing speech therapy or something like that?
Kill this career that I got going of being a mumble mouth or whatever?
Or whatever. And part 2, what is your favorite part of being on the Stern Show?
Favorite part about being on the Stern Show? Having chicks be into you. That's just favorite. Just because they know you from the show. It's been nice.
That's been excellent.
It's gotten well-known people, famous people that I've respected in the entertainment industry and stuff to know who I am. And
JD, come on in. Let Ryan meet you. This is the opposite life you've had.
Ryan, JD loves the good-looking guy, so...
Yeah,
you want to be part of the posse?
You might be able to get me in the China Club.
That's cool. So you can make connections here and there. Listen, I was a huge fan of the show before I started working here, so that in it of itself is like the best part is being able to contribute to a show that you loved and made you laugh for years. Now that I can make people laugh, even if it's at me. It's fun. It's good. I like it.
Plus the ladies.
And the ladies. Hopefully they're not laughing at me.
Hopefully not. Question from CWB in Tennessee. He asks, how do you live day to day being possibly the most socially awkward dude ever?
How do I live day to day? I don't do anything socially. That's about it.
That's a good solution.
Excuse me.
If you were to sum up...
Sorry about that.
If you were to sum up this experience in one succinct sentence or paragraph, how was your time on Fine Time today?
Very snotty, because that's how I feel right now, and I apologize to you and the viewers for this. Yes. Okay. I am so sorry.
It's been awesome having you here on Fine Time. I want to remind viewers, keep sending your questions. You can tweet them, you can Facebook them, you can email them, you can even send video submissions and be a part of the show. And remember, this is your show, so don't screw it up. Until next time, I'm Rachel Fine, and I have had a fine time with you, JD. I don't think you stared at my boobs once. Like one.
I hardly stared at you long.
I don't think you looked at me. Can you look people in the eye?
No, hardly.
It's really. Can you just say one sentence looking me in the eye?
Congratulations, you have a lovely fiance, and if anything ever happens,
I'll give you a call.
Send me a Facebook message.
I'm gonna just put this pillow right back.
Hey.
You don't even seem to understand the show. You just ruin everything. You got to be funny in here. Can't wait for you guys to see this on Howard TV.
Daily shows, classics, and exclusive behind-the-scenes access.
Well, that's going to be on Howard TV.
The funniest, sexiest, most star-studded network on TV is Howard TV On Demand.
Hey Stern fans, welcome to Fine Time, the show where you, the fans, get the opportunity to ask questions and interact with your favorite Stern Show staffers, Whack Packers, and celebrity superfans. I'm your host, Rachel Fine. Now, my guest today is someone who has a lot to say. Unfortunately, whenever he tries to say it, all that comes out is, whatever. Since he started working for Howard, he has started drinking. He has had a complete makeover. He spent thousands of dollars on webcam porn. He has directed a smash hit, Super Twink. He has been mugged on a subway, and he has lost his virginity. He's known as a hard worker, and he loves beer pong and video games and ladies with big, giant, round asses. Please join me in welcoming the man who fascinates Howard Stern and who will no doubt be horribly uncomfortable during this interview. The one, the only, the badass himself, J.D. Harmeyer. How's it going, J.D.?
Oh, thank you for bringing up all my fine points in my career so far.
You've earned that introduction.
I did not direct Super Twink. I just want to make that distinction.
Let's straighten this up for IMDb right now.
That project got taken out of my hands quite fast.
So you lost its artistic vision?
I just starred in it, and Richard and Sal, they sort of took the reins over on that thing.
Okay, well, you're off the director reel. Can I ask why there's a giant, is this your avoidance of women between you? Why is there a giant pillow between us?
I have a bit of a cold, so I'm trying to keep distance, but if you want to, if you care to get closer to me, please.
I don't want your cold, but I am going to say,
by all means.
I'm going to just squeeze it a little bit. I think you're safe without the pillow there.
Yeah, okay.
We got a lot of questions for you, and I'm going to jump right in.
Alrighty.
Todd N. asks, it would seem your skills are a bit limited. What type of job do you hope to get after Howard retires? Have you thought of any places you might apply to?
Of course. Listen, I don't. God, where I sound like a fucking idiot.
It's already profound. It's already verbally profound.
Of course, I thought about the future after the show. I don't know, my skills are limited, as some people would say. But if there's definitely different places that use clips and different things. There's different websites. There's different shows. But who knows where other people will go around here. Maybe I'll work with them doing something. I don't know.
So you're counting on one of them to play?
I'm not counting on anything. I'm just saying. So that's it.
Awesome. This is gold.
All right, so.
Next one's from @Ringet72. They ask, what happened to you that makes you afraid of people? It seems you have zero confidence with strangers.
I wasn't very popular in school. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't popular in school. I was probably bullied a couple times. Not like hardcore, but I don't know. I don't know what. I don't know.
I like when I don't respond. He just keeps going.
Oh yeah,
this is
I'm
awesome.
trying to stop the silence.
Next question is
silence is deafening.
I am going to rely on that.
Yeah,
Next question is from Stephanie and N. She asks, what is your favorite moment working on the Stern Show after all these years? And if you could change anything about the job, what would it be?
If I could change anything about the job, I don't know. I like working here. I wish I didn't have to divulge or didn't feel the need to divulge so much information about myself.
Okay.
But that sort of goes along with the territory, I guess. And the favorite moment on the show, geez. God, there's so many. I don't even know what happened yesterday, for Christ's sake. I did like feeling the Flo Rida chick's ass.
Okay.
Remember that.
I know you like a big ass.
Like a big ass? I don't know. Reading Winter. That was definitely one of the best times I think I had.
Winter is when there are no leaves on the trees. Winter is when we say goodbye to the birds. What?
So, yeah.
Fantastic. You're great at poetry reciting.
Well, thank you.
Question from @Traced_Inc. asks, do you like Robin's or Rachel's boobs more?
Robin's or Rachel's boobs more? I haven't seen much of Robin's boobs lately. So I'll say Rachel's.
Thank you.
Even though I haven't stared at him once.
I noticed how this guy's not even making eye contact with me, let alone boob contact. Straight ahead.
Your beauty would just confuse me. I'm already confused enough, so I'm just.
We need you at 100.
I'm focusing on Chris and Robert's crotches over here.
And we've already learned another profound truth.
There you go.
Next question.
I'm not focusing on the crotches.
Right. He's totally staring at them.
I'm staring at your tits just now. There
just
you go.
for you. That's Mary Kill. Lisa G, Rachel Fine, Robin Quivers.
Oh, Christ. Well, I do seem to remember someone's F, Marry, Kill recently where they decided to kill me.
JD, it's not that I want to kill you because I really like you too, so don't get all pissed off that everyone kills you.
He will be pissed.
I know, and I don't want you to because I like you.
No, he
you're
will be
a sweetheart,
pissed.
and I enjoy you quite a bit. I just think that I'm closer with the other two, so this is not about you, JD, and I really do want you to get laid and married and have the other options besides being killed off. I felt like I might get payback for this.
Jason and Benji again.
Okay, but I specifically clarified in there.
Hello, who's my time?
Okay, go ahead.
It's my fine
It was
time.
not. That was not. I was not out of meanness. It's not out of love for you.
It doesn't matter.
Does that mean I get automatically
Killing
killed?
Lisa G.
All right.
Killing Lisa G.
Sorry, Lisa.
She's like a mom to me, for Christ's sake.
And he would kill your mom?
No.
Well, so you're saying.
This is F, Marry, Kill.
Okay.
If I had to kill someone, it would be Lisa
You can't
G.
bang or marry your mom. I gotcha.
And probably marry Robin. And fuck you. So there you go.
That was a pickup line. I liked it. Genius is dead asks, do you feel that you and Howard are developing a father-son relationship? And are you confident that Howard will help you find a job in media after Sirius ends?
I try not to. People, if I started believing how much Howard was trying to be his dad or something, I just think that would be. I would feel douchey or something. I just think that something like that would go to my head, I could do no wrong in Howard's eyes or something.
You keep it humble.
Yeah, so I try not to think about that. As far as after, I don't. If he does nothing, then I don't know if he'd help me. I don't know. I haven't thought about it.
Give it a minute. All right. Next question from.
Wipe my nose.
I'm about to put the pillow back between us.
I told you.
Next question from DZ. DS. Do you like when fans approach you for pictures and autographs?
To be honest, listen, yes and no. It's nice to be recognized and people like you and stuff. But it's awkward for me to. I don't like any pictures taken of me, period. But it's all, having people treat you like a celebrity or something, like you're someone, is very odd to me. So it's very uncomfortable. But I don't. It's like a. Excuse me. If it happens a lot, like I was at this block party show and people were just coming up to me left and right, and yeah, that can be a little much. I can't go there because there's fucking people overrunning that place. But it's fine. I take pictures and stuff.
Do you mind getting recognized in the street?
Do I mind?
Do you like?
No, I mean if it happens, it happens. I don't certainly seek it out. So it's like I said, it's very awkward. I'm not used to it. And I just don't feel famous or anything. It rarely happens anyway, unless I'm at a stern event. It rarely happens.
Okay. Question from @Carwood22. It's pretty famous. It's pretty famous.
God help famous.
Carwood22 asks, if you could change one thing in your life, what would it be?
I can change what? Probably that I wasn't so lazy so much.
Okay.
I would tend, if I'm not working, I'm very lazy. I'm like the polar opposite of, here, I try and get what I can done and stuff. But when I'm not here and if I'm at home, I don't do shit. And I wish I could, push myself to do more things.
Is it just because you're uncomfortable to go outside and do something, or is it because you're just not motivated?
And other career aspirations that I might have.
Like what?
I've talked about making movies and stuff before, which I'm not talking about anymore. But there's the sense of I don't want to fail at something and be seen as a failure and be made fun of as a failure and stuff like that. So
it gets easier to stay in the house.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha. That's sad. I think you can change that. That's a changeable thing.
I hope so.
At Beaver City asks, did you ever take speech therapy classes? And what is your favorite part of being on the Stern Show? So let's take those one at a time. Did you ever take speech therapy classes?
No, not speech therapy, no. I've taken English classes in high school and stuff. But
no one ever addressed your ability to put words together?
No, I can put words together fine sometimes.
Listen, I'm not, it was shorter than what, it's all right now. It's like, what do you want? I don't know. What is going on? Something like that.
I think if you watch this on the replay.
I don't care. I'm not going to watch it.
You're missing out on
Oh, God, no.
When you would never look into doing speech therapy or something like that?
Kill this career that I got going of being a mumble mouth or whatever?
Or whatever. And part 2, what is your favorite part of being on the Stern Show?
Favorite part about being on the Stern Show? Having chicks be into you. That's just favorite. Just because they know you from the show. It's been nice.
That's been excellent.
It's gotten, well-known people, famous people that I've respected in the entertainment industry and stuff, know who I am. And
JD, come on in. Let Ryan meet you. This is the opposite life you've had.
Ryan, JD loves the good-looking guys. So.
Yeah,
you want to be part of the posse?
You might be able to get me in the China Club.
That's cool. So you can make connections here and there. Listen, I was a huge fan of the show before I started working here. So that in it of itself is like the best part is being able to contribute to a show that you loved and made you laugh for years. Now that I can make people laugh, even if it's at me. It's fun. It's good. I like it.
Plus the ladies.
And the ladies. Hopefully they're not laughing at me.
Hopefully not. Question from CWB in Tennessee. He asks, how do you live day to day being possibly the most socially awkward dude ever?
How do I live day to day? I don't do anything socially. That's about it.
That's a good solution.
Excuse me.
If you were to sum up,
sorry about that.
If you were to sum up this experience in one succinct sentence or paragraph, how was your time on Fine Time today?
Very snotty, because that's how I feel right now, and I apologize to you and the viewers for this. Yes, I am so sorry.
It's been awesome having you here on Fine Time. I want to remind viewers, keep sending your questions. You can tweet them, you can Facebook them, you can email them, you can even send video submissions and be a part of the show. And remember, this is your show, so don't screw it up. Until next time, I'm Rachel Fine, and I have had a fine time with you, JD. I don't think you stared at my boobs once. Like one.
I don't think I hardly stared at you long.
I don't think you looked at me. Can you look people in the eye?
No, hardly.
It's really. Can just say one sentence looking me in the eye.
What I. Congratulations, you have a lovely fiance, and if anything ever happens,
I'll give you a call.
Send me a Facebook message.
I'm gonna just put this pillow right back.
Hey.
And good morning, everybody, and welcome. I was just listening to the wrap-up show from yesterday. My satellite radio went out in my car, so I couldn't hear the wrap-up show yesterday, so the guys are playing it for me in here. I don't know what happened. It seems the brain wasn't talking to the radio. Do you know what I'm talking about there?
Yeah, there's a brain inside the car.
Yeah. There's a brain inside the car. I'm like, is it real? Really? Why is this difficult? Why is my radio
Why
not
is the
working?
brain not talking to the car?
I've had it before.
Really?
The brain stopped talking to the radio. And something to do with the way they installed it. They hid the brain somewhere in the car that you can't reach. So I got to bring it to someplace.
Oh.
And then have them take apart the car and then get to the radio. Brain.
Right.
Hey, Ronnie.
Well, tomorrow, probably when the car goes out to Long Island, that's where the guy is. They have to take the radio out of the ceiling because that's where it's mounted.
Yeah.
Behind the radio is the brain up in the ceiling of the car.
Oh.
And they just have to unplug it and plug it back in.
And this is a silly question, but explain this to me. Why doesn't the guy just move the brain somewhere where we can get access to it? Like, there's a million places.
It needs to be rebooted that often.
Like, why does he have to put it in the ceiling? Like, why doesn't he put it, like, where, like, one of those drawers are or something in the car?
That's a good question.
Yeah. I mean, he's putting the brains. We know we regularly have to reboot it.
Right.
Which I don't even understand that about.
Yeah, I had it happen yesterday also on the radio in the front, but the brain is behind my seat, so all I do is unplug it like for 2 seconds, plug it right back in.
Can't they put my brain behind your seat? Or can't they put it somewhere?
I don't know. I'm going to ask him.
Yeah, ask if he can move the brain.
I'm going to ask him.
It seems silly that we have to be a week without satellite radio.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's like a whole operation. They take the whole car apart just to fix my satellite radio.
For 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It's a 2-second thing. All you do is you unplug it and just plug it right back in. And
how long does it take him to get to the brain?
He's got to slide the radio out. I don't know.
How long does that take?
10 minutes.
As long as I got you in here, let me switch topics. Is Scott, the engineer, now officially off the Ronnie's Block Party tour?
As far as I know, he quit yesterday.
He
For real.
quit
No, for
yesterday?
real. Yeah, for real.
The arguing continued?
I tried to talk. He had a talk with Shuli on Monday,
and that got ugly.
And And when we left here last Wednesday, everything was fine. And then Monday morning, I heard he wanted to have another meeting.
Oh, dear. He goes home and gets riled up.
I don't want to have meetings. I want nothing to do with meetings.
You want to have some fun.
Yeah.
Well, I think I might have riled him up by accident.
How?
Because he came in and I was talking to him about it. I said, well, I was under this understanding when Shuli, Ronnie the limo driver, and Scott the engineer put together the Ronnie Block Party thing, what they did is they sat down in a room and they said, hey, let's go out on tour and we'll split the money 3 ways. You know, whatever's left over, we'll split it 3 ways. So I started thinking about it, and I said to Scott, you know, if that was the arrangement, why is it changing all of a sudden? You know, the more money they made, they would make more money as they went along on the road. So if that was the deal, I kind of said it to Scott.
Hey, Howard?
Yeah.
I can tell you, I spoke to Shuli. I think he's here today, too, because he's got some funny letters from people that are already suing Scott that want money back from the trip.
Well, he's already booked on Toronto.
Right. The Toronto people want their money
He's
back.
promoted on Toronto, and he quit the show.
You can't do that. You got to give notice.
Well, that's what I said to him yesterday. I said, well, if you're going to quit, you should do the Toronto show because, you know, you're already booked on it.
Maybe he doesn't want to do the Toronto show because he feels you guys will be angry with him since he's quitting and he's going to take a lot of shit.
Well, but I mean, he's quit before, and we weren't happy with it, so why would he think we'd be okay with it now?
What was your discussion with Scott the engineer? I heard it was heated. Like, he can't get off the... You know, but then Ronnie told me the original deal wasn't that you guys are going to split 3 ways.
No, it wasn't. He's the only one, and Ronnie sits there and tells him right to his face, there was no partnership. There was no splitting down the middle.
So how do you decide who gets what money? In other words...
Well, I wish I didn't have to do it, but unfortunately I do.
You're sort of the appointed leader of the group. And so you get paid.
Right.
And then, like Ronnie said, he's thrilled. He gets a check for $2,500 or whatever it is like Scott gets. And he doesn't even ask any questions. He's like, I can't believe I get to go to Ronnie's block party and make $2,500 for the weekend, which is a lot of money.
The only gripe Ronnie's had was he said, I just need to make sure that I'm back Sunday in time to be at work Monday.
Right.
That's it.
That's it.
That's the only thing I've gotten from Ronnie this entire tour. Not to mention the 5 other people on the tour, not a peep.
Right.
Nobody's complaining about a fucking thing.
Scott is under the belief that he is the draw with Ronnie. In other words, you guys go out on your own and you draw nothing, according to him, and that they could get any comic to front the show and do the hour show, and then he would pay them. So
any two-bit comic, as he said.
Two-bit, right.
And he throws shit at me, and then in this meeting, now, when we were on the air last time, I fired him. I had enough.
Shuli, I want a ruling on this. Is Scott off the show?
No, he's off. He's done.
He's done. You're never working with him again.
And everything he's done here today
I don't need this
proves
shit.
that I'm making the right decision. You're trying to throw us under the bus, making up shit.
I was going to do it. I had no problem doing the shows.
Of course you have no problem doing it. Of course.
You're getting $2,500.
Right.
Yeah, really.
But yet you have no problem fucking bitching about everything.
Ronnie came to me and he said, look, let's try and work this out. You know, and I understand Ronnie and him are friends. Out of respect to Ronnie, I said, you know what? I'm going to give it a whirl.
Right.
We sat down last week in the office in Scott's studio, talked, worked everything out. I said, Scott, from here on out,
So you said from here on out you'll get a salary.
You'll get a flat fee, and on weekends that we do well, when I can bump you up, I will.
Right.
I didn't say you're never going to make more than this. I said this is your minimum. And then if I can do more, I will get you more.
And he says, wait a second, Shuli.
No. He agreed to it.
Right.
He agreed to it.
Right.
Then the weekend came.
Uh-oh.
Then Monday morning came.
Right.
Obviously, somebody got in his head.
Well, he got in his head.
Or he got in his head.
Right.
And he shows up Monday and he says to me, after the show, I'd like to meet with you two again. So I said to Ronnie, I go, he wants to have another meeting. Ronnie's like, what's another meeting? Ronnie's like, I'm done with these meetings. I don't want to do these meetings.
Right.
So we go, we sit down. Right back to square one.
Right.
This was a partnership. This is this. And I go, Scott, you already agreed. We were moving forward. Well, I thought about it, and, it's just not right. It's not fair. If you guys want to be fair with me. So I said, you know what, Scott? I go, you gotta let me know. Are you in or are you out?
And then he said he's out.
No, he says, I'll let you know my decision tomorrow.
Wow, like the president.
Yes.
Right.
So Tuesday I walk in.
His decision.
I go to him. I said,
Supreme Court.
Yeah. I said, Scott, what's your decision? I need to know because I got shit I got to fill up.
Well, didn't he want you to open your books to him?
Oh yeah. He wanted to
break
down.
Why don't you give him the breakdown? Why don't you just say, hey, look, here's what I got, here's what Ronnie got, here's what you got.
I got no problem with it, but it never ends with him. That's the thing. If I split everything 50-50 with him, there would still be something that he's not okay with. Because the bottom line is, he doesn't trust me.
Right.
I don't want to work with somebody who doesn't trust me.
So why not just open the books to him and show him the split?
Because Howard, it won't satisfy. I'm telling you, here's something. When we first did our first
he feels
4 or
you're
5
getting
shows,
a lot more money than him.
Let me tell you something.
He should get more money than him.
Right. You feel Shuli can take whatever he wants.
He's the headliner. He can take whatever he wants, but he's the headliner. He's got to pay the comics.
In other words, even though it's called Ronnie's Block Party, the reality is someone's got to get up there and entertain the people for an hour.
Right, and we have other comics that deserve to get paid also.
Right.
Not $100. You know what I'm saying?
Are you curious what the
No, I don't
weekend
even
generates?
I don't care.
You just can't believe you're getting $2,500.
I'm glad that we go out. The people, I'm telling you, when mustn't people bust your balls on the air and curse you out and say you're an asshole and everything?
Right.
When we go to do these shows, they are fucking thrilled to see us.
Right.
And I love it. I think it's great.
When we did the first 4 or 5 shows, we drew nothing. We made nothing.
Right.
These guys, I made sure that they got paid.
Right.
Our promoter, Sequoia, lost money. I lost money on these shows. They got paid.
Right.
Scott knew when there were 40 people at one of our shows early on. He didn't ask to see the books then.
No.
He took his money and he shut the fuck up.
He
was
didn't offer you
fine.
anything back.
He didn't want a partnership
and this
at that
whole
point?
Robin Hood fucking thing that he's doing. Oh, I'm looking to reduce expenses for everyone else. And in these meetings, he looks at me and he goes, he has the balls to go, it's not even about the money. I go, what the fuck is it about then? Of course it's about the money.
What is it about to him?
Right.
Yeah.
Just fucking be up front. Just look me in my... And he tells me, he goes, I feel I'm not respected. I go, really? You want me to respect you? You fucking sit here and shit all over what I do for a living.
Wow.
And you want respect.
So he's out now.
So I said to him yesterday...
It seems to me that if you guys wanted to, you could take like JD to Ronnie's Block Party, or... like Sal would probably be thrilled to get $2,500 for the weekend, and Sal actually does some stand-up.
There's a line of people out there.
Who's in the line to replace him?
I think when Sal goes out, he wants
Big money.
He wants big money.
Right.
From what I heard. I don't know
Sal
for
gets
sure.
big money?
I don't know for sure, but that's what I heard.
Does Sal get big money, Shuli?
I mean, I don't know if he gets it at every gig.
Right.
I know he wants it. We all do. But
Right.
I don't know if that's a reality. I mean,
why won't you tell Scott what you get paid?
I have no problem telling him what I get paid. I told him right to his face, I make more than you.
Right.
And I'm going to continue to make more than you.
How much more do you make than Scott?
$7,000 more. No, I'm kidding. I just want him to have it. It really is a difference between $500 to $800 difference. So this guy's walking away.
That's fair for a guy who has to really
doing all the
entertain.
managing for you, basically.
Yeah, right.
Scott, I'm hearing this. Shuli doesn't sound unreasonable. You're talking about a spread of $500 to $800 more than
It
you.
sounds like a Jackie negotiation.
You're saying $300 or $3,000? Oh, Mike 3. Okay, go ahead. Yeah. I'm hearing what Shuli's saying. It's $500 to $800 more, and that seems fair to a guy who's got. You go out for a minute, and I know they're coming to see you and Ronnie too, but
I thought from the beginning. I'm not going to argue. This is what I'm going to say. From the beginning, we were the three. We had an arrangement. It came. We didn't make money the first couple of things.
Right. No, you made money.
Shuli comes and says the block party itself.
Scott, you made money on the shows. Don't sit here and say all of a sudden we're all one unit now.
I'm just repeating what you just said. The block party didn't make money, and we got paid. And then you came to us and said, if we each take X amount of dollars, you, me, Ronnie, that would be fair. We can go forward and make money. We'll take equal amounts. I agreed to that.
So they said equal amounts.
Well, we said equal amounts when there was no
now
money.
That there is money, but you want to take it out of the cash register before we have a chance to count it.
Scott, what did you make for those first 4 shows?
I don't.
I'll tell you. You want me to tell you?
$400.
No. The first 3 shows we did you not make $800 a show?
No, one show.
Ronnie, what did we make the first? One show you made $800, right?
And then after that, it was like we got to take less because nobody's making money. So
nobody was showing up.
I know that. I said fine. We all agreed to take and then it. All of a sudden,
so you went from 500 to 2,500.
Well, that was one show, and then it became 4 shows. So don't tell me that I went from this to that. It really didn't change the amount of money I was getting.
Let me ask you this, Scott. In all honesty, let me ask you this: out of all the people on the tour, why is it that you're the only one who has these issues? Why is it nobody else has come to me?
Because nobody else made an agreement. Ronnie doesn't give a shit. Apparently, he just
Ronnie made the agreement, but he just doesn't care.
It was an idea. It was never a partnership. It was an idea.
And your idea of a partnership, let me tell you how the partnership got started again. I said, Scott, would you be up for doing something on the road? Yeah. That's how the partnership got started.
All right, let me ask you, did you ever say that we're going to go out and split it 3 ways?
I never, ever once said, and Ronnie, if I said it, tell me now. If I ever said we are splitting everything down the middle 3 ways, tell me.
Nobody ever said that.
We all agreed to take the same amount of money.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. Because we always said
we did. Yeah, that's your problem. If you did say that.
No, my problem is him. Nobody.
I've just relieved you of a problem.
Well, all right, so you're out. In other words,
again,
you're
quit. Again, you quit.
I didn't quit.
Were you booked to go to Toronto?
Yes.
Or were you advertising that you were going to Toronto?
Whatever they were doing.
Well, of course we were.
Then you should do Toronto and exit like a gentleman.
But it's too late now, Howard. It's too late.
Why
I had to change the flights. Because as of yesterday, I said, "Are you in or are you out?" I need to know.
Right.
It's not easy.
Who are you going to bring with you, JD?
JD has stepped in. He's going to fill in, and that's that. And we're doing a rotation. We're going to take whoever wants to come.
Who do you have in mind? Like, in other words, let's say JD.
Like Regis.
Anybody and everybody.
It's like the Regis show, like Kelly Ripa's in audition.
Anybody who wants to go from the show.
I think Jason would be great.
Do you think people want to see Jason on stage?
I actually have gotten a lot of people on Twitter saying that they would
want to see Jason.
Tracy, I think, would be
They want to see Tracy.
I would love to see Tracy.
What's Tracy going to do on stage?
Fucking yell at this guy, yell at Ronnie the whole time for all I care.
Come out and say douche and all that kind of stuff. That's more than Scott does.
Listen, that's
Tracy's got an act.
Yeah, I mean, compared to Scott, she does.
And that's
Is there anyone you would reject from here? In other words, let's say. Oh, I don't know. I'm trying to think of somebody who's sort of... Steve Brandano.
No, I would take Steve.
You would take Steve?
Yeah, because he hosts the intern show. People know who he is.
I see. Well, it's true. I mean, who the fuck is Scott?
We're going to do a thing called... We're going to do a thing called...
kind of a nobody.
So I got rid of this. So I got rid of his problem, and I made it easy for him.
We're going to do a thing called Mystery Guest.
Go ahead.
In each city we do, we're just going to say It's the Ronnie Mund Block Party with Shuli, blah 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 blah.
But what if the mystery guest? But what if the mystery guest is JD? Shouldn't you advertise that?
No,
because people love JD.
You don't know who's coming.
You don't know.
You don't know who's coming.
It's a grab bag.
Yep.
You know, I don't know who made him boss.
Would you have Richie Valenson come?
I think we might have to draw the line at Richie Valenson.
Richie Valenson is the guy who installs the radio.
The installer to the stars.
Right. You wouldn't have him. No one wants to see him on stage.
Yeah.
What about?
Look, I tried to talk to Scott yesterday morning alone.
Would you take Ross Zapin?
I can't imagine me on stage going, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Ross Zapin.
Why not? It's the same thing.
I would love to see what the reaction.
Would you take any of you guys from Howard TV, like Scott the
Phelan, I'd take it a second. He's a fucking party.
But do you think people know Phelan?
Yeah, they know him as Drunk Cam. They know him as
Drunk Cam?
Yeah.
Boy, Scott, there's a lot of people.
And all these people, by the way...
Would you take Scott's intern on the road? No.
Rafia?
Yeah.
I'd take her in a second.
Rafia?
Oh, yeah. She could tell all Scott stories on stage. It'd be great.
It'd be like having him there.
Yeah, and then you won't scold her and punish her afterwards.
Wow.
I tried to talk to Scott alone yesterday morning and say, dude, what are you doing? Man, you go out, you have a good time. It's a weekend. You get away. You know, you have fun. You're with the guys.
You pay them to get away.
I could understand if you were getting $200, $300 bucks. You know,
he has this thing in his head. He doesn't trust Shuli. That's what it is.
They keep changing things. They don't inform me of things.
What if Shuli?
What have we not informed you on?
What are we changing?
So I found out from somebody, a friend, that he goes, so you're doing a barbecue in Toronto? I go, a barbecue in Toronto? When?
The barbecue, the meet and greet we're doing in Toronto went up 2 days ago.
That was just added.
2 days ago.
I found out about it also. But you weren't going, so why would we tell you?
No, I'm just telling you, things happen. I'm like, really?
Well, what happened beside the barbecue? Because as these guys explained, the barbecue, whatever that is.
It's a meet and greet. Usually we do a meet and greet at the club.
Before the show.
Before the show.
You know,
but for some reason they can't do it there. So this guy, whoever this guy is organizing this thing.
You're going to have a barbecue.
He's doing a barbecue meet and greet in the afternoon.
Why do you care about Why do you even want to know about that?
Right. If I got to...
What's the difference if you meet and greet at the barbecue or you meet and greet at the club? What is the difference to you? Why should they bother you with that?
Free food no matter what, Scott.
You're going to go away and have a barbecue, yeah.
You got to ask, this is so good. This is so funny because I thought it was so insulting. They did offer Scott the opportunity to make extra money in Toronto. Can you explain that, Shuli?
Yeah, I had a whole thing saying Scott doesn't even know about this.
I don't ever know about anything. That's the problem.
Well, this one I wanted to leave a surprise, and it wasn't something that you would be forced to do. But look, Scott wants more money, so I said, you know what? With all the airplay we've gotten the last couple weeks, maybe people would be interested in trying to dunk Scott in a dunk tank.
Right.
So I told the guy, look into renting a dunk tank for this meet and greet.
Right.
Figure, line people up, $10 a throw.
Does he get
Scott
the people
keeps
the money?
every fucking penny.
Right.
And
probably pay a couple of bucks to.
I shove him out of the way to get in the fucking dunk tank to make that money. I got a 2-year-old,
man. He's still not getting it about the money. It wasn't about.
Of course, it's about money.
No, it's not. I'm just walking away from the money. Why would it be about the money?
Because you want
if I'm walking away from the money.
You're afraid Shuli's getting more.
Well, I thought it was an even split. That's the problem.
Right, so
and then when I asked to see,
you live with the fact
when I asked to see the financials, I got a guy that went crazy on me. It's like, how dare I?
Why didn't you just show him the financials?
I'll show it to him. I got no problem showing it to him. I just think it's
a problem.
I did. I think it's very.
Let him see it. Print it out. Let him look it over.
I think a guy who sits there on stage like a fucking lamp on a nightstand and then gets a fucking fat check at the end of the weekend and then comes to me and goes, I'd like to see the expense report. And I go, why? And then he tries to act like he's doing everything for everybody else.
Shuli, I got to blame you a little bit in this.
Go ahead, that's fine.
Because when he yelled at me...
Show it to him. And then be done with it. What do you care if you're not doing anything wrong?
I'm not, and believe me, I am done with it.
Just say, here's what we brought in, and here's what we paid out.
The guy sits here and talks about he wants respect. He gives none.
Right.
He doesn't respect You don't respect what I fucking do.
He did call you a hack comic.
Exactly. You don't respect what I fucking do. And I got news for you. I can go to school and learn what you do. You can never fucking learn what I do. You understand?
I can learn.
There's a bit. No, I get a year from now. Go up and do fucking an hour. Go up and do 10 minutes and get laughs without somebody writing something for you.
You can learn what I do, but you couldn't do what I do.
That's right, because I'm a grateful, appreciative human being.
Okay.
I couldn't do what you do.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, you're right. I could. Now that I think about it.
Wow. Well,
so when he said, "I'm not showing it to you," how dare you ask for the financials? I'm like, well, what are you hiding? That's what made me think they're hiding something.
He's got a point. Show it to him.
He's so full of shit.
Right.
First of all, I didn't approach him like that. I said, Scott, I walked in very calmly. I said, Scott, was there a problem with the weekend? Are you not happy with what you got? No, I'm fine with what I got. Okay, well then, why are you asking to see the expense report?
Can I ask you a question? I heard through the grapevine you're trying to organize Scott the Engineer's block party.
No, that was a joke. It was like the Black Cloud tour. That was I did.
Yeah, why don't you organize Scott the Engineer block party?
No, I have no interest in that.
That'd be good. A competing block party.
I don't want to do that.
Now he has no interest.
Just grab a few hack comics and get it done.
Show him how it's done.
I never had any interest in doing
I got names of some other 2-bit comics if you want to.
Hey, don't you have a whole pack of 2-bit comics?
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Sal just ran it. Sal, say what you just said, Howard. Scott already offered Richard and myself the Black Cloud tour.
I just said that. I said that was a joke. That was a joke.
That would sound like a joke to me.
I went into those guys and said, "You want to do the Black Cloud tour?" I wasn't.
Yeah. But okay, listen.
Sal just said privately in his office it was a joke.
Yeah, I went. Oh, please.
Get it?
I'm not a comedian. That's part of my
you can't talk about anything around here without anybody finding out.
I'm not a comedian, so obviously that wasn't a good joke.
Well, anyway, it's the end of.
It sucks.
It's still a Ronnie's block party, but you're upset.
No more Scott.
Yeah.
You like going out with Scott?
Yeah, he's my friend.
Right.
Unfortunately, he's leaving. No, he left. He quit.
And
you got to hear this letter.
I was fired. How many times was I fired?
No, you weren't fired. You quit this time.
Scott, I fired you on the air, and then we had the meeting last week, and we agreed to move forward. You agreed with me that you were okay with the plan.
It truly shows you how much they took in and how much they put out.
I think
would you?
I don't think he'd be happy. I really don't.
I think he just doesn't want to be a part of it.
Does he want to take the $3 to $5? What was it? $5 to $800 and split it 3 ways? Is that really important?
That wasn't
great question.
If it's 5 to 800, what I would do is give it to Shuli anyway because he's going to do an hour on stage.
I thought that we were all getting equal amounts.
Evidently, you're not.
We're not. I told you that a long time ago.
You didn't tell me that.
I did tell you that. I kept telling you it's not a partnership.
But he wants to know what
Shuli gets more. I said I don't care that Shuli gets more.
Ronnie's thrilled. He's just getting a couple of grand. I mean, it's a huge amount of money. I don't get. You're turning down $2,500 weekends on your salary.
Plus, he can get more if we do really well. Like Shuli said, if we get extra and there's a bump up, he gets extra money. We all get extra money.
And we got bigger shit lined up. We got poker tournaments and casinos that want us. We got Jamaica, a weekend in Jamaica with fans. And this is...
What do you think?
This is a price range that's out of the price range that we're in now. I've told you this. I've told you this. The long-term plan. Didn't I tell you that? Didn't I say there's a goal here?
Yes.
And I got to beg this fucking guy to put money in his pocket. I got to kiss his ass.
Really? You're walking away from all this? Tour to Jamaica? I mean, you're going to just sit there like a lummox and eat, and you're going to get even more money.
And drink at the pool.
And the thing that burns me up the most, Howard, is he quit again. He keeps doing this shit. And
this is like the third time.
I've never quit anything. I've come out on stage to do 10 minutes with Artie and Philly, and 4 minutes into it, 3,000 people turned and wanted to kill me.
Right.
And I stayed up there to do my 10 fucking minutes.
Right.
Because I'm not bailing early. I'm not quitting on that shit.
Right.
That's what you asked me to do. That's what I'm doing. It's not like you would have worked Toronto and come home with nothing. You would have got paid. You would have made money.
I know that.
But you just...
all right, he's out.
He's out.
He's out.
I had to make changes.
He doesn't like
Crazy, but he's
working
out.
on the weekends. I think
he has such a good time on the weekends at home.
They can't handle it.
The only thing I thought was wrong with the whole thing right now, I know he quit. That's his prerogative to quit.
Right.
But he was booked on the Toronto tour. He should have said, listen, I'm going to do Toronto because you're on the bill.
That's true.
And
I can't argue
I'm
with that.
done after that. The guy who booked us there is pissed as shit. He sent his letter to Shuli yesterday. You got to see this thing.
That's not right, Scott.
You want me to do Toronto?
I wanted you to do Toronto when I came to you yesterday and the day before.
Do you want him to do Toronto? Stop whining.
I just.
Do you want him to do it or not?
I got to find out if they got. I got to find out if they got JD's ticket yet. If they didn't get JD's ticket yet,
he's driving Shuli nuts with
JD's ticket.
You know, I don't need this fucking shit, man.
Is the guy in Toronto happy that JD's coming?
Yeah, everybody's happy that we're coming.
All right, so then forget Scott.
Surely they did get his ticket because I got an updated itinerary yesterday.
Well, there you go.
So then Scott, it's too late. He's already gone crazy doing it.
Okay. Well, I just thought that we.
But you did the wrong thing there. When you commit to going to Toronto, You go. Yeah, you should have done. But if somebody here mentioned a three-way split, then Scott's right. But you could have opened the books to him, showed him what was going on, that you get 500 to 800 more. Maybe he would have been okay with it. Who knows? But all right, he's out now.
He wants to split that up too.
Right. All right.
Robin, when
that's it.
There's an agreement that we will.
I'm not going to talk to you about this.
Scott, I think you just.
Wait a minute. When you have an agreement, and then somebody doesn't go by that agreement and just start.
But why is it out of the three of us?
No one knows about that better than I do, Scott. But I'll tell you what. I think you're cutting off your nose to spite your face.
And why is it out of the three of us you're the only one who's aware of this agreement?
That's a question because everyone out here is asking. Explain to me, Scott, exactly what the agreement is, because you say it was, Shirley says it wasn't, Ronnie says it wasn't. So I don't understand. I'm trying to figure out what exactly you guys, did you say, let's go on the road together, or did you say, let's go on the road together and split everything equally? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
We, in the beginning, me and Ronnie had a number, and we gave it to him. And then after one or two gigs, Shirley came to us, listen, we're not making money. If we all agree to take the same amount, this X amount of dollars, going forward, we think we can make something work.
Right.
I said, okay.
So at that point, he said, let's all agree to take the same. But now that it's doing better, he wants a little more.
Yeah, but that was never explained to me.
All right. Well,
I mean,
there you go.
In all fairness, right. Scott, but in all fairness, Scott.
Here's my problem with the whole thing. When this started out, Scott could have said, I'll handle managing, because he doesn't do anything else.
Right.
He could have said, I'll handle the books.
I don't do anything.
You don't?
Anywhere. I don't do anything anywhere.
I mean, I don't know what you do.
And that way you guys can
I tried to do comedy. I tried to do comedy. They wouldn't stand for it. They wouldn't let me finish.
Well, the audience was more against it than we were, Scott. In all fairness.
All right, guys. Listen, I'm going to sum this up. Here it is, Robin. Now you're going to
know what the book said if he was doing that.
The answer is Ronnie's block party, as we knew it, is now Ronnie's block party with guests who will accompany these guys.
The mystery block party.
The mystery block party. Scott the engineer is out.
It's a mystery why people are buying tickets to this show.
Right. I don't know why anyone's involved with this in the first place. I don't know how this is even going on.
It's the funniest business
ever. It really is.
I think our fans have lost their mind. Having to go sit and watch Ronnie yell on stage at women to take their tops off. It's crazy, but look, they love it. According to him, they love it.
They do.
And if he wouldn't,
they love it?
They absolutely do. And if Scott wouldn't have missed that Chicago-Arizona weekend and we brought JD with us, like, Scott would have leverage in this situation by the means that, I don't know if people want to see somebody else. Maybe they are coming just to see Scott. But with the fact that we used JD and we saw the turnout and the energy and the way the show went, I mean, that was
so JD is in Toronto.
Here's a perfect example, a quick example. Chicago and Arizona, he didn't go to. Okay?
Right.
We did really well there.
Right.
And everybody got more money. He would have got more money too.
Right. Huh. He doesn't trust.
I'm not going to go through the numbers.
Scott doesn't trust that he's really getting as much as he should.
He asked me to write up a contract last week.
He did?
Yeah. He asked me.
You're going to write up a contract? What are you, a lawyer?
Yeah. He wants me. On top of everything else I'm fucking doing, he wants me to have a contract written up stating what he's going to make, so we don't run into this problem again.
Well, if it keeps changing, the more we make, the more you take. If it keeps changing, then why should I believe that it's not going to change again when there's more money?
Of course it's going to change. It depends on how much everybody makes because.
There's overhead, there's expenses, there's hotels.
He wants to see it. He wants to see what's going on.
I know.
I don't want to see. I don't give a shit.
I know there's expenses.
Give me my check at the end of the week and I'm happy. I go home.
All right.
That's what I got in it for.
Okay.
To hang out.
You can't believe you're getting a check.
I'm happy. I'm thrilled.
I just thought there was an agreement, and then all of a sudden there wasn't an agreement. It was different, and I wasn't consulted. And I thought
that you're the only one who has this understanding?
I'm a pain in the ass.
No, you have an understanding that nobody else has.
Do you understand that?
No.
All right, boys. I don't know how to resolve this other than...
I don't know either. I tried to talk to him yesterday alone.
It is resolved.
Scott's sitting home.
Ronnie, I know you're upset. You like going out on the road with
Now
Scott.
I get to mow the lawn every weekend.
Right.
So what's wrong with that?
So Scott doesn't seem all that broken up about it.
I guess not.
No, I'm not. I told you.
He makes enough money here. He doesn't need any.
I made a ton.
Right.
So.
What can I say?
Well, there he goes. You guys are upset because he's turning down $2,500 a weekend. And you're like, holy mackerel! He's like committing suicide. He's like with Jackie. I know the feeling. I sat down with Jackie on a private jet coming home from Vegas while Jackie was stuffing himself with shrimp cocktails and drinking and everything else. And he said to me, I don't know. I think this is my last trip. I go, really? He goes, yeah, my contract's coming up, and I think there's going to be a lot of problems.
And how many times did you think to yourself...
And then I went, well, what problem is there? You're making millions. Millions.
Right.
Millions.
Right.
I go, you have no idea. People in radio don't... Well, you know, we're the Beatles, and I think, you know, I could be doing a lot of other things, like punching up scripts. I go, who's going to hire you to punch up a script? Oh, you'll see.
You should have punched him up.
He told me, you held me back. I said, I held you back how? At the Friars Club, they don't want to put me on a roast. I go, why would they do that? They don't like you, so they don't like me. I go, really?
Everything is back to you.
Yeah, and then I go, well, and you know what? You're making a lot of money, and, you know, I feel like I'm a huge part of that. I go, you are a huge part of that. Yeah, but I should make a lot, and you should open your books to me. He started in with that. He goes, on the E, when they add a market or they add a market in syndication, I should get more. So if you tell me, in each market I want $25,000, and then I go, whoa, really? You think in each market you should get more? You're making a fortune. I said, do you know I can do the show without you? I'm not doubting you can do the show without me, but if this is going to go on, books have got to be open. Oh, okay, goodbye.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel.
But Jackie and I never had the understanding that there was going to be a three-way split.
Well, it seems to be the same thing here. Jackie had an understanding of what should be that nobody else did.
Yeah, he had his own understanding.
I swear.
And he did. Fred makes more than me, and Robin makes more than me, and I'm just in. And I go, you don't even know what Fred and Robin make. I don't know what Fred and Robin make. How would you know that they make more than you? I know. I go, you don't know. You don't know what Robin makes, and you don't know what Fred makes.
And that's the thing, you know. It's just, I can imagine you sitting there and in your head going, what the fuck is going on with this guy?
I can't imagine another writer, whether television or radio, that makes the millions he makes. I'm talking about, you know, like on Jay Leno's staff.
Yeah.
Jay Leno has 16 writers. I don't think any of them were making millions. I don't think on David Letterman, I don't even think his executive producer makes millions.
I know comics who write jokes and send it in for his monologue
how much,
and get made $50, $20.
$50.
Yeah,
that's what I said. Well, how about we pay you I'll pay you the best rate in the business. I'll pay you $50 a joke. You know, and then if you write 10 jokes, you get $500 whole dollars.
I was talking to a guy the other day. He just started doing stand-up. He's doing it a year. I said, how do you like it? He goes, I just hope to be able to make $25 a night here in the city.
Right, $25 a night. And when I met Jackie, he was making $50 at a bachelor party.
Right. And I'm insulting him.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I don't need it, dude. Listen.
All right, so, Scott, it's over. It's over.
That's it.
Right, you seem okay with it.
It seems like a reasonable conclusion to this whole thing to Scott.
All right. Okay, guys. All right, it's over, everybody. That's what I'm trying to establish.
Everybody move on.
Yeah.
Block Party is reborn.
Block Party is a whole new Block Party. JD's the man now, all of a sudden.
Or maybe someone else.
Right.
It's a mystery guest.
Yeah, the mystery guest.
Maybe a mystery guest.
By the way, you remember how JD was like not into this at all at first?
Right.
We had to totally twist his arm and do it. He's now running. You know, he's sending me texts at 2 in the morning while we're on the road.
You know why? He went out on the road with you guys.
He got a taste of it.
He probably got paid $2,500 like Scott does.
And he got hooked up with girls.
And he had a life, yeah.
He got laid 2 nights in a row.
Yeah,
I don't know if he got laid.
We don't know if he got laid, but there was some sort of activity with girls.
Fun with 2 different girls.
Right.
That he still talks to, I know.
That he's still talking to. Yeah. Where is that mushmouth?
I love him.
I mean, you know, here, in with the new...
And he already said to me, he goes, I'm going on the L.A. trip because we're booked in L.A. in September. We got two big venues in L.A.
Hey, what is it with you that all of a sudden now what turned it around for you?
Mr. Block Party.
That you're now Mr. Block Party. What happened? Could you spend an hour getting the headphones on?
He can't swallow a pretzel.
They're new headphones.
He can't put on headphones.
Well, they're new.
They're no different than the other ones.
No, they are. Yes, they are.
Take about the wrapper.
Look how big this thing is. Listen, I am not big on...
I already think you're way more entertaining than Scott.
I'm not big on traveling and stuff.
Right, who is?
But, you know, it's definitely fun to be with Ronnie.
You got girls.
I will say I had a lot... it was a better time
with Ronnie than it was with Scott.
Right.
So, I mean, I love Scott, but he's not Ronnie. He's no party.
So you're into it. I mean, you were texting Shuli, I want in on the block party.
Well, I mean, I saw the tweets and stuff of them out in San Francisco, and it is a good time to hang out with them.
We went to him yesterday, Toronto, because Scott quit.
Yeah.
He's there. No argument like with Chicago and Arizona.
Well, my demands were met, so why not?
Your demands were met, all right. 2 hot chicks. Your demands were met.
So you think you'll be meeting new chicks in the big Toronto trip?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, what do you mean? How do you know?
Because I got girls on Twitter already tweeting me to bring JD instead of Scott, so they're waiting for him.
It's like this Twitter pimp.
Wow.
Yep.
They're waiting for him to meet him.
Yeah. No bullshit,
It's unbelievable.
It's unreal. Howard, at one point I'm backstage, Ronnie and JD are on stage in Chicago, and there is like 20 chicks with their hands, like the Beatles, with their hands up running to the front of the stage. And I'm going, in what world do chicks run up to these two guys like that?
Very surreal.
Wow. Yeah. No wonder you want to be on the tour.
That's all right.
And you get money.
Shuli, don't even pay him.
Well, come on. Then I quit.
Now, will he get what Scott got? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And he'll get bumped up if we make more money. He's going to get bumped up just like I will and everybody else will.
You'll have a girlfriend in Toronto, a girlfriend in Chicago, a girlfriend in, where was the other place?
San Diego.
And soon to be Jamaica.
Well, I don't know about Jamaica.
Oh, we got Rhode Island, we got Long Island, we got New Jersey.
Yeah, Long Island's
all
a little
coming up
closer
next,
to home.
That's all next month.
Yeah. Do you know about any of these girls that want to meet you that Ronnie's talking about?
Listen,
he knows.
He does? How does he know?
He keeps it quiet. He knows.
He's quiet. He can't talk.
Look at this team. I mean, who wouldn't pay money to see these two? In a second.
So you all set for Toronto? Do you know what you're going to do on stage?
I mean, nothing with Ronnie.
I hope he does this.
I gotta say, when we get together backstage, and we put things together just like that. Boom.
And you guys just sort of improvise.
Yeah, we do.
Well, I sort of go after Ronnie's lead. It is Ronnie's block party, so I just sort of followed his lead. There is sort of one thing that.
Can you imagine 10 years from now, JD's paying child support in 10 different.
He's like ODB.
That ain't happening.
Why don't you eat a pretzel on stage? That was funny yesterday when you eat a pretzel and then talk. You put shit in his mouth and let him talk.
Eat a pretzel and read Ronnie's winter poem.
Okay, here I am with a bag of chips in my mouth. Okay, now
These are his impressions.
I'm going to put my mouth full of watermelon and do Slice Alone.
Wow. It's crazy. All right. Well, good luck, boys, on the road.
Well,
and
thanks,
JD,
man.
good luck.
It's all because of you anyway, so.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. Could the mystery guest
himself quite a
let me ask you the last question.
Can we take you one weekend?
No, I'll be the mystery guest.
He's the mystery guest.
Could the mystery guest ever be Scott the engineer? Like, would that ever happen, you think? Like, all of a sudden he shows up?
Why not?
Why not?
It could be. All right. Wow, that'd be crazy.
Can you imagine that now, instead of taking $2,500,
he's getting nothing.
He's going to sit at home and get nothing.
And mow the lawn.
And then JD's going to have $2,500 plus
girls.
Chicks.
Well, this is a big Jerry Maguire moment. He showed us. He walked out. He grabbed his goldfish.
Yeah, well, you know what? He'll show you. Wait till there's a Scott the Engineer block party.
Yeah, I love how everything's a joke when he gets busted for it.
Right.
You know? I was pranking you guys.
It's a
Don't you
comedian.
get?
The cloud tour.
Yeah, it was just some fun and games.
Because Ronnie heard about that he went to Sal and Richard and offered that. And Ronnie was not happy about that.
Right.
No, I felt that.
Yeah, he was undermining.
Yeah, really. I thought it was really wrong.
And he
I
could
thought
do it with you.
friend,
If he really wants to do it, he could do it with you guys.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you.
All right, man.
All right,
Thank
JD,
you.
good luck, man.
Thank you.
How many girls do you have lined up from in Toronto? Like right now?
A couple.
A couple?
Yeah, at least
Two
a couple.
or three?
Maybe three.
Maybe
more. Who knows? You don't know who's. There's a lot. I know
It's
there's a
just
lot of
been
girls showing
announced,
up in Toronto.
Ever since he did well on that Ugly app, he's
I see him.
No.
What's that?
Ever since he did well on that Ugly
I
app.
won't talk about that.
What, the Ugly app?
He doesn't like that, you know.
I won't. I don't even.
Ugly app beat out Angry Birds is number one.
Know, whatever. Good luck to him. I hope he puts his kid through college. It's great.
All right.
By the way, Howard, I just want to tell you, last week when I fired Scott on the air, I got an email when I got back to my desk from Grillo.
What do you think?
God, Grillo wants on the
The email said, I can do 5 minutes and I don't complain.
Is Grillo someone you'd consider taking out on
Why
the road?
not? We'd let him go up and
Grillo
do 3-5 minutes.
hasn't been with the show for like 20 years or something.
Yeah, well, you give it a shot.
But he's associated, so it could be even like KC could end up on the show.
Right. Definitely, for sure.
Right.
KC.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. Doors wide open, man. It's like a variety show, this thing.
King of All Blacks, you're on the air.
Yeah, Howard, I think that the money is a distraction. I think that his wife told him that he wants him home on the weekend.
I don't know. She's got to want money, too. I think she's probably angry about this.
I don't know.
Everyone used to blame, like when my situation with Jackie or something, they blame like Jackie's wife and stuff. But point is, it was Jackie.
Right.
You know what I mean? Jackie had to have a brain in his head, too.
Yeah, well, you got to
No woman ever told me what to do in business.
Yeah, you got to
figure it out for myself.
The final decision's got to be his, right?
Well, at the end of the day...
mystery guest?
What's that?
I'll be a mystery guest.
Yeah, we don't have black people on the tour. Sorry. Thanks, King.
Wow. That's pretty harsh.
Yeah.
You don't need the money, man.
King of All Blacks could be on the tour.
Absolutely.
He doesn't need the money. He's got
I love him.
All right. Thank you, King. All right, boys. Enough of this. People write me letters. Don't talk about Ronnie's block party.
All right.
Scott, it's over, Johnny.
My name is not Johnny.
I'm sorry, it's over, Scotty.
Well, I don't know if he got
this controversy sort of went out with a whimper.
Well, what am I going to do?
That he's still talking.
Well, did any part of you think, let me just suck it up, it's extra cash, or your principles are just too strong this time?
I have strong principles.
I'm going on the LA trip.
And you just figured that Shuli's doing some shady things behind the scenes, maybe with that Sequoia character as well, and there's a huge lack of trust for you.
What happened?
Listen, I don't know what was going on, but they wouldn't tell me what was going on, so I don't know. So obviously, I don't know what was going on. When somebody doesn't want to tell you what's going on, then they already put suspicion on themselves. So.
Yes, they are.
I don't know. I don't think I was asking for a lot. In other words, it all just backfired according to everybody else. But I mean, if I asked for equal, which I thought I deserved, I thought we all deserved equal, then we could make $10 one weekend, and then I'd be out all that money. That was kind of a gamble on my part as well. So I don't see where I'm doing it for the money. I'm walking away from all that money. So I guess my principles are too strong. Right?
Are the Jackie comparisons unfounded? Do you believe that they're accurate?
Forget Jackie. All right, they have nothing to do. He didn't have an agreement with Howard. Howard had nothing to do with it. I thought I had an agreement with these guys. I thought we were three together in this. We promote, we do, nobody does more than anybody else. Shuli goes out for more, 15 minutes more on stage than me and Ronnie. I don't know. I don't see where the comparison is. We're on the road the same amount of time. We're at the venues. We're at the meet and greets. I don't think anybody does any more than anybody else. We do all the promotion. We do it all here. I don't understand where one person thinks he deserves more than another person. Okay, we all did equally. So that's a problem with me. So I don't understand that. That's all.
Plus, your phone charges have to be through the roof with all the roaming.
Oh my God!
The data use.
Oh my God! I got to use my phone. It's wear and tear on the phone. I'm going to have to get another phone. I mean, really, they don't pay that expense.
Scott, in all seriousness, how many hundreds or thousands of dollars away are you guys from an agreement? Like, how much could he throw at you?
It's not a lot, and I'm trying to tell you, it's not the money. I'm trying to tell you that it's not a lot. So it's just a point of me being fair. It's just about being fair.
About justice.
So I don't think they were being fair, and that's
the American way.
If that is my fault, I mean a fault of mine, that I wanted things to be fair because I thought we started this together and we built it together. All of a sudden, somebody decides, hey, we're making a lot more money. Let me go in the cash register before everybody gets to count it. And I think that's what happened. So, you want to come and discuss among us. All of a sudden, you're giving yourself a raise. I don't know who made him boss anyway. So, whatever. That's the way it is. And they don't, want to talk about things. They, want to go ahead, like I said on the air, they book things without me knowing. Scott, we're going to prop you up, and you have to be here, and you have to be here, and you have to be here. I don't work for him. I thought it was like we worked together. All of a sudden, he was the boss. That's not going to happen. I don't work for him. So,
if honesty and integrity are wrong, then you don't want to be right.
Whatever. I was just thought it would be fair for everybody.
Truly.
Yes, sir.
It seems finally we've established some resolution in the matter.
Yeah, we have some closure finally. Long overdue.
So the Jackie comparisons rang true for you?
That's all I could think about when this whole thing was going on was, I imagine this is what it must have been like, with Jackie. Like, it's somebody that is just never happy. They're never going to be happy, I could open every figure to him that he wants. It's still, he's going to find something to complain about and bitch about. I don't need it. I don't need to fucking have it.
Sorry, you still maintain that he's getting the fairest shake he could possibly get for what he brings to the...
For what he brings to the table, he's well over fair. He's well over fair, and that's really my point in all this is, there's guys who are bringing much more to the table who are making much less, and they got nothing to cry about. They're not bitching. They're not asking to see this and that. He's doing very well, and it's not enough for him. And the bottom line is he doesn't trust me. And I'm not going to work with somebody who doesn't trust me. And he's a quitter. I don't deal with quitters. I don't do that. You do it, you do it.
Now you move on, and now you move north.
Yeah, we're going to Toronto. JD stepped up to the plate. He is a team player. He enjoys being there. He enjoys the party, and so does Ronnie. And the vibe, really, with those two was excellent. It was probably my favorite weekend that we've done so far. So, I'm excited. I'm just glad this is over with. I've been stressing with this for the last few weeks, and it's just been making me nuts. And I got enough shit in my life. This guy's life's almost over. I don't know what the fuck he's worried about. Mine's just starting. I got a fucking kid to raise. And I gotta fucking hold this guy's hand through life. I'm tired of holding people's hands. I just want to hold my hand. That's all.
JD, now you've become a permanent fixture on this tour. You're the permanent replacement.
I guess. I don't know.
Your first few forays into the block party world were extremely successful. Do you feel pressure to maintain this success?
Of course.
How do you plan on combating
that's almost that's probably the one of the reasons why I'm a little hesitant to go out and do all the shows, because then I put pressure on myself that if they don't sell out, then I'm like fucking or something, you know what I mean? So if they're not a success,
in your wildest,
terrible.
Nearly 10 years ago, you started here as an intern. In your wildest dreams, did you ever see yourself being a money-making act on the road?
No, I did not. I still don't. I don't.
We'll start to believe it, mister, because it's happening.
I guess.
Ron.
Yeah.
Let's talk block party.
Let's talk it.
Let's talk future.
All right.
Finally, some resolution for your boy Scott. Not the one you had hoped for.
I'm not happy about it, believe me. I don't know if he believes me, because I know he doesn't trust Shuli. So I don't even know if he trusts me, to be honest with you. You can't work in an environment like that when you don't trust somebody. I don't know how he, whatever. Shuli told him he makes more money than him. I don't understand it, but I tried. I tried to talk to him yesterday, alone with me and him, and he's just got this thing in his head now, and that's it. I think, to be honest with you, I think he's sorry. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I don't know. I'd love to see it turn around, but right now for the Toronto trip, they already booked his plane ticket. We took a hit. We're going to lose money because of him not coming now, because they already booked his plane ticket. So he gets his plane ticket. It's good for a year, and he does what he wants with it, but we're the ones that have to pay for it out of the money from the weekend, So I'm not happy about it, but the show must go on, as they say. And I like the idea of this mystery guest thing. Bringing different people on the tour. Let the fans see different people from the show. Be great. We could even bring Penthouse girls that have been on the show. We could bring Rick's girls that that have been on the show. We could bring anybody who's associated. We could bring as a mystery guest. I think it would be cool.
Are Scott's fears and lack of trust justified in your opinion, or is he just being completely over the top?
And I'm being totally honest. If I cared that much, I would be in the same position. asking to see breakdowns and all that shit. I mean, my name is on it, okay? Plain and simple. It's the Ronnie Mullen Block Party. But to me, it's fun. I'm not looking at it as a fucking business like the way he's looking at it. I'm looking at it. You go out on the weekend, and like I'm telling you, you've been to our block parties in the beginning. Even in the beginning, when we weren't selling shit tickets, people still came to see us. They were thrilled, right or wrong. You were there. And they, Rob, the other camp, he goes on our road trips with us. He could tell you, man. People, they love seeing us. They love sitting there. They love taking pictures. They love hanging out. They love having a drink with us. They love the show, even though, you know, sometimes it's a train wreck. But whatever. People love that we come.
So you do it for the love and for the fun, and you make some money that's secondary, and it's great.
And some money, it's a good weekend's pay, man.
Right, that's the other thing. He's throwing away a lot of cash right now.
I don't understand it, but you'll have to ask him.
You can only lead a horse to water. You can't force him to drink.
I tried to make him drink yesterday, but it didn't work, obviously. He's got this hang-up with Shuli, man, about money.
He's acting more like a big bald mule than a horse.
Well, what can I say?
The show must go on, and it will.
Yeah. We got, JD's coming to Toronto. They already booked his plane ticket and canceled it. Well, not canceled his, but he does have a plane ticket. You know.
He's got that going for him. He's got a flight credit.
Yeah, he's got a flight credit on Air Canada. Whether he'll ever use it or not, who knows?
This is the best of the wrap-up show. A recap and behind-the-scenes look with John Hyde and Gary Dell'Abate. The best of the wrap-up show begins now.
Hey, it's Gary Dell'Abate, Baba Booey. On Monday's wrap-up show, we had Lisa G in. She talked about this event she announced. She's going to do a sweet and greet where you can come meet her and eat cupcakes and drink soft drinks and that whole sort of thing. And then her and Benji started to mix it up because Benji said she's using the show for her own gain, which is exactly what Lisa had accused him of. Here's what happened.
In the news today, we heard that Lisa G will be doing a meet and greet, or sweet and greet, I believe she called it, and only for women and limited to an audience of 22. And, Lisa, that was met with some serious feedback there.
I know. Well, first of all, the space is small and it only allows that much. So that's why. And I just wanted to see how it would go. I mean, if it's just me and Marianne from Brooklyn, they're eating brownies, and that's the way it's going to be. I was prepared for that.
Well, is this a seminar, a chat, a talk, or
is it
chat?
Just whatever you want to do. Just come and.
I mean, is it a cocktail party sort of thing?
Kind of, yes.
Or are you going to get up at some point and speak?
Only if people want me to. But my vision is sitting around, having some alcohol, soft drinks, cupcakes, desserts, and just meeting female fans who want to come and say hello. It started when, you'll probably think this is crazy, I went to my local coffee shop's appreciation night. They invited all the loyal customers. And I went, wow, this is so nice. It was small, people in the neighborhood, coffee, and snacks. And then I went to America's Got Talent, and I saw tons of female fans. And then, right after that, women were calling in complaining that I never stop and say hello, I'm mean, I don't care, I don't take pictures. I'm always running, going, doing, reporting. And so I just put everything together, and I said, why not do something for women who listen to the show with desserts? That's what I'm about.
I think it's a great idea. I got to tell you, I can't get past the fact that you don't have any more activity to do in your life that you went to your local coffee shop fan appreciation night?
I know. It was so nice. I'm there every weekend. I really like the owner. I love the friends that I've met. I don't know. It's a very New York thing, I guess.
There's one thing to be having a get-together, but you're charging $103.49 for this. So it's not a free get-together. How did you come up with that price point?
A combination of things. One is, the room rental, listening to what other people on the show, what they charge, and that's really how I came up with it.
But do you think there's an expectation? Certainly, I would imagine for the 22 people come, you'd sign anything they want, you take a picture with them, but is there anything else? Can I get a piece of Lisa G's kilt or something?
No, but I will be making a lot of desserts.
Oh, so we'll get some Lisa G desserts.
Yes.
I know when Benji was selling T-shirts, you accused Benji of using the show. Now, would you accuse yourself of doing that also?
Well, my issue was I could barely see you in the picture. It was an Elisa T-shirt. That's what my complaint was.
But what does it matter?
First of all, half the shirt was me, but you can look at it.
That's not the way it looks
or
like
Benji. I'm sorry.
But Benji brings a good point. Like,
so why not enough of Benji's face was in the shirt, and that's why he was using the show?
You know what, Benji? Just don't. Why are you even going there?
Because I just want to know if perhaps.
Because he's still mad at me.
If perhaps no. I first of all, I'm one of the few people here that thinks go for it. It could be a neat experience.
So why don't you just say that?
Because he thinks you're being hypocritical.
But no, I'm worried that you might be violating your own principles.
No, that's not what I said. I was saying that Elisa doesn't work on the show, and that the T-shirts it was about Elisa and about you trying to be a hero to her. That's what my complaint was.
But you were worried that Benji
Why are you rehashing it? Why are you rehashing all this?
I think it's good hash.
God, you're so crazy.
Let me ask you this. This is I don't think they will.
Gary, what were you saying?
I don't think they. This is a real question.
I actually was going to say Benji brings up sort of a valid point. Where's the line, I guess, of when you're using the show or not using the show?
I think if you work here, then I would hope you would get Howard's support.
So if that was just Benji's single and then Elisa had nothing to do with it,
I would be fine with it.
Okay. So in other words, she's accusing Elisa of using the show through you. Or are you using it for her?
You can tell Benji that.
Yes, tell Benji that.
You can get back at Lisa when a guy's hard.
I'm not trying, but
right. It's like if I was having a dessert party for my boyfriend, and it was pretty much for him and not for me.
Well, we were both
because he had a recording career.
So you're against other people doing joint projects with anybody
that don't work on the show.
So you would be
like
against
Ronnie
you
Munn's
doing
block party. Everyone works on the show.
No, first of all, they don't.
For the most part, they do.
For the most part, okay. So you would be against you doing a joint project with someone else?
Benji, I'm not going to get into this vortex with you now. Anything else, guys, then I've got to go back to the newsroom. Anything else?
I'd like to take. Can we take a call?
Yeah.
We'll take line number 2.
Warren, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, big fan. Hey, I just wanted to say, Lisa, did you say your life was so busy that you didn't have time to meditate, but you can find time to go to coffee shop appreciation night?
Yes, during the week I can, and also I was in my music class. I'm busy. This semester I'm not taking it, so I have some more time, and it's also the summer's coming up.
Hey, Lisa, when you say that the other guys, I'm not talking about Benji, but did the block party meet and greet, is that what made you think, hey, maybe I could do something like this?
Yeah, that too.
And how have people been?
I mean, every other word is block party this, block party that, block party that. I mean, God bless them. They're making some good money. I haven't done anything. I've been here going on 7 years. I haven't done anything, and I just think this is a nice thing to do. If no one wants to come, fine.
You sold cookies before.
Why just women? Why not open?
No,
it up?
I haven't had any kind of event.
You sold cookies before, though.
Yeah, but I haven't had any kind of event.
Why just women? Why not open it up to everybody?
Because I felt that there really isn't a specific event for female fans.
Now, what if will you? I don't think they will, but sometimes they do legally go after that kind of thing.
Who?
Like Attorney General's office.
Go after what?
Sex discrimination. Like there was a famous one in Manhattan there was a hairdresser that said, "I won't." Oh, you think because for using the show? No, like they have gone after small businesses and stuff. For you, actually, it would be good publicity.
And don't they use go after people who make records who put other people's voices on it?
Oh my God. Are you talking about Haters, the single?
But I'm taking another phone call. George in Maryland, you're on the wrap-up show.
No, I'm saying does
Hold on, I'll get back to you. Go ahead, George.
Yeah, I got a question for Lisa. It just seems like she's always able to point their finger at somebody else does something wrong, but when you hear it on the news or anything like that, it's always up to the starter people. Lisa G in the green room with this one. Whenever there's a whack packer in there, you don't hear no part of Lisa G.
Because that's usually Shuli's turf.
So you guys are divided up where you do the entertainment stuff and he gets more of the whack packers?
Look, I did the royal treatment with a bunch of whack packers.
Lieberman explained the beats last week, if you guys remember. Jason in Ohio, you're on the wrap-up show.
Yeah, this is for Lisa. Hey, if Benji's girlfriend wanted to go to your meet and greet, would you mind, or would that be a problem or anything?
No, not at all.
103.47. Nobody gets discriminated against.
Well, as like it came up, if knowing our audience, if a transgender comes, if I come in drag, if someone comes,
no, you cannot come in drag.
But what will you do?
I won't let you in.
A vagina is required?
Would you do any kind of like Olympic type test, like a?
Wait a second, that allows Siobhan in.
Yes.
Dan, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, I just wanted to comment quick. I feel like everyone's attacking Lisa G here. I mean, I'm not a big Lisa G fan, but I feel like Benji is twisting it on her today. Maybe.
Well, first of all, nobody's attacking Lisa at all. Benji's just saying, hey, you gave me a hard time when I use the show. How come it's not the same for you? But I don't think anybody else is attacking Lisa at all.
But I think people should do. I think this is if she can make money on it, if she can have fun doing it. I say why not do it? Like what's wrong with it?
Lisa, how did you feel when Howard reacted? Like who's going to go to that?
Yeah, I knew it. Yeah, I was expecting it.
Does it hurt a little bit?
Yeah, it does. But like I said, I'm expecting me to be there at maybe Marianne eating brownies and getting drunk if that's the way it's going to be.
I think you'll do better than that. I do.
Well, we'll see. It would be nice if people, came, and I think it would be a very nice evening.
So I think Lisa's sort of lowering her expectations that way. If it's just you and Marianne, so be it. But if it's more, then you're happy.
Oh, it'd be great.
I get it.
Well, what is the overhead? Like you said, part of the ticket price was to the rental of the room. Like
now, do you give any money to charity, Benji?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so what's the overhead? What's giving to charity have to do with it?
I'm just asking.
Yes, I do. I don't give a lot to charity.
No, through your recording career and the money you make on iTunes.
Oh my God! Oh my God! That's like Jesus Christ! You're just shaking my world. That we should be doing. We should say to market it, we'll give 10% of the net proceeds to charity. What a brilliant idea!
That would be nice.
No, I don't have anything. I don't think there's anything wrong. I think it's nice of you to give to charity, but it's purely a marketing thing that you're doing that.
No, it's a charity I'm involved with. And what charities are you involved with?
You're using the show with another business.
I would love to make some more money for Power of Pink, the organization I'm involved with.
But they don't work at the show.
It's a charity.
Oh, okay.
Gary, what's going on between these two?
Benji's trying to get it. Benji's the funny thing is, it's hard to get under Benji's skin, but Lisa definitely did with some of her comments, and Benji's a little stung by it. He's going to bust her balls.
I think they're under each other's skin.
Yeah,
it's not just a one-way street.
I am someone that's supportive of people doing stuff. I'm saying Lisa was very. Gave me a lot of crap about what I've done.
Well, why don't you just tell Lisa that you think she's being a hypocrite? That's what you've been saying for the last 10 minutes.
Sam Simon always says I use the word hypocrite wrong, so I don't know. It might be that she's not being consistent. So you're either being a hypocrite, or inconsistent.
Do you feel like you're being an inconsistent hypocrite here?
No.
But, all right.
No, not at all. Anything else, because I have to get back.
Yes, let's take one more call. We'll go to Rick in Jersey. Rick, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, Lisa.
Hey.
I want to go to your party. Why aren't you allowing men to go to your party?
Let's see how this.
I'll pay double.
Let's see how this, comes to be. Let's see how many people show up, and if it's successful, I'd love to do another one.
In fact, if you'd like to date Lisa G, you can buy the whole party and just have a one-on-one with her.
That would be great.
Listen.
Or just write a check to the charity. That's fine, too. Huh?
I'm married. I don't need another wife. I just want to go to the party. I want to see how she's cooking these little cupcakes and all the other stuff. I'm willing to pay.
Food's going to be good.
Why will she not have a man go there? That's ridiculous.
Hopefully, maybe there'll be another one, and then I'll make a co-ed. But I just want to start off small, and this may be the first and only. We'll see. I don't know.
Have you thought about it down the road? Like if this one succeeds, what
it would be. I would love to do more. And
hello, Cleveland.
Would you?
Yes.
Would you roll it out?
I'd love to do a sweet and meat in Cleveland, wherever. If you want me to come to your town. Have cookies will travel.
Who came up with sweetened meat?
I did.
And just you're playing off because it's going to be sweet food as well as
desserts.
Very clever. Well,
Thank
at least
you.
I agree with Gary. I think you're going to get. Yes. I think you're going to hit the 22. I can't tell you which 22 people will be there, but I do think that you will go there. And give the information. Where is it?
You can go to lisag.com and click the link, and I'll be retweeting it at LisaG30D, throughout the next couple of weeks.
What's the 30D? Is that your cup
It's my
size?
bra size, yes.
Is your better half going to attend this, you think?
I don't know, but I'm sure anyone that does, I think it sounds like a fun thing.
Benji, you do look great. You got so slim, so congratulations.
Oh,
look at this.
All right, and with that,
and I would like anyone, Lisa's thing that my girlfriend's face was more in the shirt than mine. Look at the shirt. That's the
You can't let it go.
No, because you just
thought we were
make
going to
up
end on an olive branch there,
just
Benji.
make up things.
Wow.
On Tuesday's wrap-up show, we talked about George Takei's honesty, his horniness, and whether I'd be willing to give him a good old-fashioned hand job. Check it out.
Did you see George's eyes light up when Howard started singing those Broadway songs towards the end of the show?
It was like the way his eyes lit up yesterday when they're talking about Donna Summer in the bathhouses.
He does get a look, and we'll leave it at that. But he certainly gets a look at in his eye. Excuse me.
This is a very inside reference. Did you ever see the movie Gods and Monsters with Ian McKellen?
Yes.
There's a part. It's a guy who's an older gay guy, and he reminisces about in the 30s when he would have these crazy parties with nothing but naked men. And he sits and he looks at his pool, and what happens is he goes back to those days and he gets a look on his face like he just shot heroin. That's the look George gets.
Speaking of that look, when Howard talked to George about if he got a hand job at a massage, and Benji, I guess he offered up Benji to do, George said he wouldn't do it, but if it happened, how could they handle it? And he got a little uncomfortable. And I wonder, Benji, did you sense anything with George as that discussion was going on? Do you think he's sort of yearning for that kind of stuff, but knows it's not the right thing to do?
He seems to be saying that he wants it. I mean, but he seems to say he doesn't want to, it would ruin his relationship.
Well, there's something really weird going on. I noticed this on my Twitter page. Somebody tweeted me a note, and it said, you should check out George's Facebook page because he's posting odd pictures during the show. So right after that conversation, and I don't think this is him, I think this is Brad, right after that conversation, it said 4 minutes ago, it's a picture of a Siberian husky who's really angry, and it says George Takei is in the doghouse. So what if Brad's sending him messages on Facebook?
Yikes. That's not good. That is definitely...
Because George is not putting pictures up to the best that you could...
As far as I know, he's not, but...
Look, George, to his credit, is very open about his sexuality and about what he's into and the things he'd like to do, even though that he can't. But I would imagine with Brad Takei sitting at home listening to it, it's got to be frustrating at some level.
I like how you bought right into that, Brad Takei.
Well, he did say that. I respect the family.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like I said, when George was here and we had his, bachelor party, he made the rookie mistake of not knowing that it's all on the radio.
Oh, boy.
Hey, Benji, would you give George a hand job for $50,000?
I think you're starting too high, Gary.
I think so. I don't, I'd have to make sure it's cool with my girlfriend and everything.
Right, but I mean,
I think the funniness of it would be,
Not to cut you out of the money.
Is that being discussed?
Well, no, not to cut you out of the money, but I'm about to. I bet you Richard Christie would do it for free because
of how funny it is.
Because how fun, not because it's gay or anything, but how funny it is and that it's George. I would bet you Richard would do that for free. What do you think?
I think we can get it for under $5,000, for sure, and probably for free.
What do you think, Benji?
It did cross my mind today for a second, this would be so funny, like a historic show moment,
What, a quick reach around? You were thinking?
You were talking to the guy Benji Bronk, who came to me and asked me with a very serious face on once if he could sit on the couch next to Rudy Giuliani to sit down and just start jerking off.
And Bill O'Reilly, yeah. Howard always wanted to explain. I didn't want it explained. I just wanted a guy sitting there. And
what, how? If you could explain it, how would you?
No, that's the thing. I didn't want him to explain.
He just wanted
it would have
sit
been
down.
funnier if we just
sat there naked and started jerking off.
Yeah. By the way, Benji's one of those guys we learned does an upside down hand thing, which is even creepier.
And everyone here started doing that after I did that, though.
I don't even know how we learned that, but we did.
How did you just share that?
I was doing it in the studio years ago.
Did you take your dick out in the studio once?
I started to. Then Tom got mad and said we weren't allowed to jerk off in the studio.
He's such a buzzkill.
Let's take a break. When we come back, something tells me Richard will get down here to talk about George. We have musical great Richard Christie now joining us.
Thank you, John.
How's that for an intro?
Man, I'm flattered.
Oh, you are such a fine drummer. But
can I ask him the question?
Okay. I was going to set the context.
Set the context.
Late in the show today, Howard was
Yes, I would lick your asshole, John.
That's a different one.
For $1,000.
That's a different one. We'll talk about that off the air. Late in the show today.
That means he'll lick it for $200.
Howard asked George if he would if he went to a massage, would he, and he got jerked off, would he tell Brad, would it cause the problem? And George was very uncomfortable with the conversation. And he went on and said he would talk to Brad about it, but he would feel uncomfortable. He wouldn't want to do it because they're married. Which led to a conversation about something like that happening here. And the question is,
for the good of the show, because it's funny, would you give George a hand job?
Probably, yeah. But, well, only if Brad approved.
But if Brad said it was cool, I know you're friends and you go out with him, but if Brad said, yeah, it's cool, do you see the humor in it?
Yeah, I think it'd be hilarious. Yeah.
Hey, what about if it was?
I mean, I would if there was money involved.
No, this
much
isn't
more likely.
This isn't money. This is just for the fun of the show.
I don't think I could do it just for nothing.
Why? It's not gay.
So you could say it was for the money.
Yeah, so I could blame it on the money.
What would your price be? I mean, you're not like swallowing Ronnie's load here.
Yeah, for that I'd go a lot cheaper.
Like what?
I don't know, probably $50,000, maybe.
That's interesting. That's exactly the price Gary was offering.
Yeah, because
10. I know I could get it for 10.
Well,
and I can get it funded for 10.
Richard, I know you love George, and I know that's your sense of humor. I'm surprised you're even saying 50. I figured you'd do it just because it would be a legendary show moment, and it's George. And I can envision you envisioning jerking George off.
It is hilarious to think about, and it would be funny as hell. Even just seeing George naked with a hard-on would be really funny because, he's Sulu from Star Trek, and he's not supposed to have a big hard-on right in front of everybody. So that would be funny, but there is, there's a stigma attached to jerking a guy off, unfortunately. It's, for me being a straight guy, some people might think it's weird.
But you are a straight guy.
I am a straight guy.
You're married, so you should be confident in your sexuality.
I am very much, but still, I got to have a little bit of compensation for when I go back to Kansas and all my buddies are making fun of me.
So you're not gay, you're a whore. Yeah. You'll do it for money.
Yeah. Well, that's like, who was that guy, Zeb Atlas, that came on?
What was that?
John remembers Zeb Atlas.
Was he the guy who does gay porn but he's straight?
Yeah.
I don't know, Richard. George is going to be disappointed, I think. Do you think George would see the sense of humor of it, or would he just be into getting off?
I don't think George would ever do it because for him it would be a sexual thing. And he wouldn't want to do that to Brad, and Brad wouldn't want him doing it.
I just realized, I remember what Zeb's tagline was, which is you're gay for pay.
Yeah. I mean, to a certain extent, I'm never going to take anything in my butt.
Right, just in your mouth.
For a nice $1 million, of course.
All right, so for like $5,000, would you do it with George?
Jerk George off?
Mm-hmm.
If somebody's waving the cash right in front of my face, probably.
What if it was just Brad and George come to you privately and say, we'd find this really funny?
No. A private fun session.
What if Brad says fair is fair and you have to jerk them both off at once?
Go skiing?
Yeah.
Brad's a cool guy. I'd probably do that to him.
I'm a little frightened that phrase rolled off your tongue so quickly.
Danielle in Pittsburgh, welcome to the Wrap-Up Show.
Good morning, guys. I just was thinking this morning when George was talking again about the bathhouses. It's so unexpected that he is so sexual at his age. And I always associate Star Trek with nerves. So for him to be so, I don't know, just like open and openly like horny all the time, it's really amazing to me.
It's one of the things we love about George. You ask George a question and he answers it. He's very honest about everything. And I have to say, when I see George, the thing that I think is like, I hope I'm as interested in sex when I'm George's age as he is. I mean, I think it's sort of cool that he's still that horny.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is you always hear that when men get to a certain age, they just don't care anymore. But George proves that's not true.
Well, and the great thing is, when George first became the announcer at Sirius, Howard talked to us about, like, let's not push him too much about the gay sex thing. And that kind of, it just, you know, it came out, you know, his first week here. Like, I mean, we knew he was gay, but that it became much more part of it.
But we didn't know how horny George is.
Yeah. And it's George's personality. If you ask him a question, he answers it.
Who do you think's hornier, George or Howard?
I think it might be George.
It's a contest.
Absolutely.
Though. I think it's George, too. What do you think, Richard?
George. I would definitely think George, especially after the Jonah Falcon incident. It just seemed like he lost control, and he totally forgot that there were millions of people listening.
Yes. We talk about that look he gets in his eyes. He had that look that day.
Look of love.
Thank you, Danielle, for calling in. Mike, you're on the wrap-up show.
Number one, I'm from Kansas, and Richard, you're really giving us Kansans a bad name, buddy.
Sorry, buddy. You mean you wouldn't suck off Ronnie for $1 million?
I don't think I would do it for $10 million.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm not like most Kansans then. Sorry.
Richard, kidding aside, if Brad gave the okay, would you do it?
You know, probably. It'd be funny. I mean, how many people can say they've jerked off Sulu? You know?
That's an excellent question. I wonder how many people can say
We'll end the show with that.
On Wednesday's wrap-up show, there was a lot of talk about Lisa G and her controversial sweet and neat. Lisa doesn't think she's doing anything wrong, but a lot of people disagree. So here's how that discussion went, and we'll see if Lisa changed her mind or not.
Lisa, while you're here, before the whole crew piles in, I'm glad I get some one-on-one time with you, because a lot of people are up in arms over this sweet and greet that you're doing, and do you understand why people are upset, or do you even realize that people are upset?
Well, right now all I hear is Howard in my head, and that's who counts to me.
What did you get? What was the message you got from Howard today?
That he felt I was above it, and that made me feel sad. But I wanted to do something. I wanted to see how this goes. You know, all you can do is try, and we'll see. So, you know, I heard what he said.
He said it kind of depressed him that you were doing this. And why do you think it's...
I think he feels that I'm classier than holding what he feels is a staged event to just sit around and eat a cupcake. And so I get it. I take it as a compliment. I don't know what else he sees me doing. It's not like he said to me, oh, Lisa, what about this? Or what about doing this project? Or I know someone who could use you for this. I'm open for suggestions.
Are you looking for an outside project?
Yes,
Are you looking
I am.
for something
I'd
to
like to do something. You have one. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, well, mine, I mean, I auditioned for a show and got hired to host it. And
that's fantastic.
Yeah, but there's a difference between that and what you're doing, I think. I mean, yours is more along the lines of the block party, I guess.
Yeah.
But the point I thought Howard was trying to make is with the block party, those guys they're putting on a show.
I'm not a comedian. Like I said, I can jog in place. That's my talent. I can jog. So I felt this might be a nice way, you know, to get women around and just talk. Girls love to talk, if you haven't noticed. We could talk about, you just go nail polish, and we could talk for an hour about nail polish, so whatever it is.
But
I can't wait.
You're also getting pushback, too, though, on your price point. Somebody pointed out to me that your ticket is, you know, more expensive than the block party or Sal and Rich or any of that.
You know what? It's not fair to compare the two.
Tell me why. Explain that.
Okay, it's not a comedy event. I'm not a promoter. I don't know deals with different clubs. I did phone around to try and get a nice room. I wanted something that was classy. It's very expensive out there. And so I felt this was at a reasonable place. I really like what Magnolia Bakery is all about. They were very, very nice and welcoming. And I felt it was doable. And so, yes, the ticket price, if you compare it to the block party, it is higher. But it's an exclusive event, only 22 people.
Are you feuding with Ronnie or not?
No.
Where did that come from? I mean...
I don't know. I think we were kidding around in the newsroom late yesterday when I heard it was called an eat and meet instead of sweet and meat. I went, what? But apparently, you know, they had that name before, so that's fine.
John Lieberman, you guys in the newsroom are aware that Lisa is looking for some type of event that she can do and sort of break out on an outside project, no?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think you're being sarcastic.
We are well aware of Lisa's sweet and meat. I think yesterday when I observed Lisa looking on Twitter and seeing that the Block Party guys were calling it a meet and eat, you were genuinely a little bit put off.
Well, Shuli told me about it. Someone told me about it. I don't think it was Twitter. Someone told me about it, and I went, what? They don't have an original idea? But then I found out that it's something that was planned a while ago. And then I said to Ronnie, I said, let's combine forces.
Right, and Ronnie was having none of that, and that's what I wanted to point out. Ronnie was having none of that.
No, he's having no part of it.
And then you guys got into a discussion of breaking down the financials. Ronnie was saying, well, at the Block Party, you know, you get all of this talent, you get a show. For you, it's just we're coming to see you. So I think there was some genuine pushback there.
So Shuli's a comedian, and what else is the show? To see Ronnie, and then you had Scott and JD. I mean, they're not comics.
Well, but I think hold on, Doug. I see you over there. What's the value of the Block Party? You guys cover it. I mean, you're all over it for Howard TV. And do you think Lisa has a legitimate gripe here?
No, it's not a gripe.
Well, no, I think Lisa's a little out of line on this whole thing. I think it comes across crazy.
What's crazy?
And I don't want to be hurtful to you, Lisa. I know you're sensitive, but you're comparing apples and oranges.
Everyone's comparing apple and oranges.
They're doing a show. There's a value to it. There's a performances. There's comedians. They have a structure.
Comedians. Who are comedians? Shuli is the comedian.
Shuli, John Toll, Mad Dog, Ronnie, and Scott.
Not every time.
Well, there's always comedians. There's always 3 comedians. But anyway. So you're charging 3 or 4 times the amount.
It's not fair to compare the two. It's only 22 people,
but
and it's in New York City.
You're having 22 people who are going to talk. It's not even you who's doing a show. You're going to be one of 22. You're saying, and you're charging 3 times the amount.
It's New York City, and it's only 22
then
people.
Don't do it in New York City. I mean,
that's where I live, and that's what works for me. Hi, George. Sit down.
Yeah, George, I'd love to get your take on this because you do a lot of the conventions for Star Trek, and you've been doing it for a very long time. But you said the other day on the show that you would not do a meet and greet where, you know, people are charging a lot of money just to sit down and say hi. Why do you draw the line there? Because Lisa is doing a meet and greet, sweet and greet.
Sweet and meat.
Sweet and meat, sorry.
Sweet meat.
And, you know, Howard...
That's the next one.
That's George's department. But Howard felt really sort of taken aback today when he was talking to her and thought it sounded a little bit desperate. Can you explain the difference between a meet and greet versus a signing, or how you decide what to do?
Well, you know, they pay dearly for the signing, and I know that that's what they really want. And they want to spend some time with you backstage, and they pay through the nose. The money all goes to the promoter of the convention, and I don't think it's right, you know, that these people that could... Well, I don't know. Maybe they could afford it, and that's why they do that. But they charge $250, $300, $400, and for Bill Shatner, he gets like $500 to just shake hands and say hello backstage and maybe sit around and.
But they pay you to show up at the conventions very handsomely, right?
That's right, and so that you know. But those so-called backstage meet and greets are in addition to
right. But why do you
pay.
show up to conventions then?
Because it's an opportunity. I consider it my opportunity to say thank you to the fans for the support that they've given us. And yes, we want to give some value to the time that we're spending. You know, sitting there signing or posing for pictures. You know, and they do pay for that too. But this enormous sum for just this brief kind of meeting and spending some...
So this is my convention.
Well,
it sounds like something you'd...
I would do something like that for charity. It's a wonderful way to raise funds for a good cause, and I'm sure you have your charities as well.
Yeah, I'm doing a bit of the proceeds to charity, and I really wanted to see how this would go, because I didn't want to just hand over a check for, $10 if no one was going to show up. So we'll see what happens.
Well,
and
why
maybe
so
the next
much?
One, maybe the next one, because it's New York City and it's expensive.
How expensive is the rental of the room?
It's expensive.
How much? Disclose.
It's $600 minimum.
Can't you hold it someplace where,
Look, I'm not a promoter. I did as much as I could. Now, if this is going to be a gangbang on me, I'm going to leave. because it's starting to feel
no,
that way?
I'm not assaulting you on
Well,
this.
now
but
there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people against
I mean,
me.
you're opening yourself up to this. It's a
That's
hot
not
topic.
but it's not what
no
the
one's here
Robert
to
Show's
attack
all
you.
about.
We're here to express our opinions. I thought that's what the show is based on.
Well, Lisa makes a fair point. I mean, no, this show exists to wrap up what Howard talked about today, and this was a big part of the show. And the other angle I wanted to take with you, Lisa, is you know, everyone says you're in love with Howard, and you admit to being in love with Howard, but knowing that he's married, that'll never happen, etc. But everybody here wants to sort of, you know, tries to fix you up and wants you to have that kind of relationship.
Who
but you,
tries to set me up?
Well, they try to set you up with
Who's
Wayne,
they?
right?
That's Howard.
Okay, so you don't think anybody else does?
Have you?
No, I haven't. That's fair. But the reason I haven't is because we've talked a little bit, and you seem content where your life is right now. And, I mean, people are goofing you for coffee appreciation night and this and that, but you've got family, you're happy. I mean, am I misspeaking here, or are you happy in the situation that you're in?
I'm very happy with my life. I'm very content, and if I happen to meet someone who's great, that'd be fantastic. It would be, you know, it would be the icing on top of the cake.
You feel that you can't meet anybody at work, right? You don't like to mix those two
No,
things?
I don't, no.
And, George, is that difficult in your career? I know you've spoken about here before. I mean, you don't want to mix business with pleasure necessarily.
Well, you know, we all love you, Lisa, and we want to see you happy. And
You mean happier?
Happier.
Okay.
Yeah, you're happy right now, too. Yes. But we want to see you having a richer life, you know. And I think most of us who are married are enjoying that kind of contentment.
Right, and I think that is so wonderful.
And we want you to have that.
That is the sweetest thing someone could say, because I look at George and Brad and I go, they have such a wonderful, loving relationship, and that is fantastic. And
we have fights too.
But you know, that's part of it too. That's part of it too.
It is.
It does take work in trying to set someone up who you like with someone else who is nice. Just plucking someone's name out of the air. You know, it's good intentions, but it's not the best intentions. It's like sitting down thinking, who do I know who's really a great guy, who might be divorced, who's looking. You know, it takes some work. And so I don't expect people to do that for me, but it's a very nice gesture if they do.
So you would be open for being set up at this point?
Like if you sat down with your wife and said, you know, who do we know? Oh, do we have a cousin? Do you have a best friend at work? Do you have you work with an attorney who's got a brother? You know, whatever. It takes some work.
What are you looking for in a guy?
A nice guy.
Just nice? That's it? I mean, no other requirements?
Someone in broadcasting?
You know, I don't even look at it. I don't. Just someone who's nice and someone who could
Who's
make me laugh.
compatible.
Yeah.
You enjoy
I think that's
Broadway
important
theater.
to laugh together. Yes, I do.
And somebody who's not allergic to cats.
Yes, that's true.
Do you feel like you've caused this great controversy by just doing a simple meet and greet for the female Stern Show fans? I know that wasn't your intention, but you also want to put it on the map and get people to know about it. Are you sort of dealing with, I guess, the best of both worlds there, where people are talking about your event, but they may not be talking favorably about your event?
That's okay with me. I knew that, you get the good, the bad, the ugly. So, look, it's 2 hours. It's in a couple of weeks. You can go to lisag.com. That's it. We've sold 11 tickets so far.
Well, congratulations. Halfway home.
Yeah.
You know something else you might think of doing? Volunteer work at some museum or some charities.
I am involved with the charity, and that's and it's every weekend
What is
during
your
the
charity?
winter. It's called Power of Pink. We split away from Susan G. Komen, and now we're on our own. And we just raised $25,000 for the breast cancer health center in Harlem. So that was
What are
we
the
had a
chances
Zumba
of
event.
you meeting a man with that charity?
Well,
it sounds like a woman's charity.
Well, the women involved, they have husbands who possibly have friends and things. But I love donating my time there. So it's for a very dear friend of mine who is a breast cancer survivor. So it really means a lot to me.
All right, we got to take a break. I know, Doug, you wanted to say one more thing, and then John, and then we'll break.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, if this doesn't work out, Lisa, would you consider doing something that's more catered to what you're doing, like a cooking class where you can have guys and girls? I think it's if you want to meet someone, I think it's a great opportunity to target people who know who you are and like you and see you like in a cooking class. Maybe organically something would happen, and you can meet people. But the meet and the sweet meat, whatever, I don't know. It just sounds empty to me.
Okay, you're entitled to your opinion.
I'm not attacking you. I'm just being honest.
Yes, John. I need to say 2 quick things factually. One is in support of Lisa, and that is that it appears there is a demand for this. It appears that Lisa will sell out the 22 tickets, and there is interest online amongst women who do want to see Lisa. I've also gotten a lot of tweets, though, wondering what is the purpose of the event, and I don't know that that's been addressed. Is it to make money, or is it for exposure, or
it's
is
a little of both. And I don't think I should be put down upon because I can answer it both ways, because most people here are doing the same thing, but they're doing comedy or they're whatever it is. So I'm doing one event. Maybe I'll make some money, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Lisa is not the only one doing this kind of stuff outside of the show. But I thought today Howard did come down on you a little bit, like we talked about, because he thinks you're quote-unquote above it.
Right.
But he's never been a huge fan of people doing stuff outside of the show. It depends almost on the circumstance.
This just seems rooted like you're a little jealous of the block parties. And I know Shuli invited you on the block party, and you
He wants me to play my violin.
Which is fun.
Why not do that?
Because I suck, and he offered me $500, and I said no.
Everyone on that show, the comedians are good. But Ronnie and Scott, they go up there, they don't have a polished routine.
But that's
they
their
sort of
thing.
suck.
That's what I'm saying. That's their thing.
But is that the money, Lisa? Like, if you got Scott Salem kind of money, would you be willing?
How much did he get?
When he said $2,500,
for one night?
Would you be willing for a weekend?
No, it'd have to be at least for just one night minimum.
Wow.
Seriously, to play the violin.
So wait,
because I suck.
Wow.
So wait, your price is higher than basically anybody else on the show.
Yes.
So
I
you
suck.
So seeing you worth more than anybody else on the show?
I'm just saying, I'm not comparing myself to what he makes. I'm just feeling, this is how I feel about playing the violin. That's what I'm going on.
Yeah, but you play in the Philharmonic. I mean, you don't suck.
I don't play in the Philharmonic.
Well, you play
in the basement.
And Lisa, wouldn't you want to play to crowds cheering, going crazy? They would go crazy over it.
That is true.
They would love it.
Cough up the money. Who knows?
Well, $2,500 is no chicken. $2,500 is pretty damn good.
All right, we're going to take a break. Lisa, you're an expensive ticket. I will say that. But good luck with the sweet and meat.
Warren Littlefield. Who is Warren Littlefield? Warren Littlefield ran the entire NBC network for years.
Yes.
And he just came out with a book.
Big mocker.
And I always like talking to these guys who actually get to run an entire network. And it's amazing some of the stories. Like I was telling you the story the other day about Cheers and how they almost cast this one and that one. It's kind of cool stuff. So he'll give us a little rundown.
And he's been on our show before.
Yeah, years ago.
Years and years ago, when he was in power. He didn't say much then.
You know Warren's important because this is so weird. Gary Delabate Fafafui put on a sports jacket to talk to him.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Like,
Are
did you notice?
Kidding?
Yeah, Gary's wearing a sports jacket. He's all excited. Warren Littlefield's here.
I do that all the time for good guests.
No, you don't.
I do.
Well, who are the good guests?
Yeah, who gets...
Like I did it for Ron Howard.
I think Gary thinks he might get a job.
I think so.
Hello, Mr. Littlefield.
I look like Spit Romney. I mean, Mitt.
Can I represent you a little bit nicer?
No, I think you should wear a sports jacket every day.
I have one every day. I just don't wear it every day.
No.
Yeah, but I love how he's making the selection between who are the good guests and who aren't.
Robin, here's a newsflash. I won't be wearing one when I run the Sibian for Octomom.
So let's see. Octomom, no. Warren Littlefield, yes.
George Takei, it depends. If he lands a network show, then the quote goes on.
But otherwise, he's in a T-shirt.
Can we keep track of who Gary deems important?
Yes, I would love to know who gets the jacket and who doesn't.
You know, when George got his job on Heroes, I was thinking of putting on my sports jacket.
Instead, I put on a sweater vest.
But unfortunately, George doesn't have that job anymore.
Well, I'm going to invite Gary to the opening of Allegiance as well.
Nope, still not wearing my sports jacket.
Oh, I don't get a sports jacket.
Here, who shows up, George?
Because Allegiance is not that important.
Jimmy Fallon, yes.
All right, let's get down to brass tacks. All right, we have Warren Littlefield coming in here today. We're going to bring him in. That's it? What do you mean that's it? That's not a very good intro. What would you like me to say? The guy used to be the head of NBC. I mean, you might want to give him a little bit more. All right, let's bring in Warren Littlefield, who used to be the head of NBC. Who wrote a new book. Is that better? Next time, more gusto, but okay. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you today?
Outstanding. Coming to see Howard.
Your first appearance?
In a long time.
Right. Up at Sirius. So you've written a new book?
I have indeed. Top of the Rock.
And this is all about your time at NBC.
One night, one network for one decade. NBC Thursday nights in the 90s.
So we're going to find out some pretty interesting, cool stories behind the scenes.
Absolutely. You'll get the backstage pass.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Warren Littlefield used to run the entire NBC television network. He, like all television like 99% of television executives, you can.
Of course. There's always that day.
You look good. There he is.
Was he the head of programming or the network?
He was head of all the programming.
Okay.
Yeah. He was the head of the network programming. Hey, Warren.
How are you, Howard?
Great seeing you.
It's wonderful to see you. Congratulations on the show.
Thank you. Now I'm part of the NBC family.
That's right.
Howard.
Who would have thought it?
Hi, Robin.
Hi there. How are you?
Were you surprised that NBC hired me? I mean, no more surprised than I am. I mean, I never thought I'd be at NBC.
Well, Howard, if you remember 15 years ago,
yes,
I was kissing your ass trying to get you to come to NBC. So I guess
were you?
I was.
What
Howard.
was your idea?
What did you approach him with?
Conan had just started in late night.
Right.
And, you know, we weren't sure that was going to work.
That's right.
And we wanted it to work. But my job was, hey, what if it doesn't work?
Right.
What are you going to do? And I was an enormous fan. I still am.
Right.
The band is still here together. I love it. And, you know, I was kissing your butt trying to get you to think about television.
Were you ultimately proven right then about Conan in a sense that
he did last.
When push came to shove, you had your trepidation about Conan in the beginning. Then he went to 11:30 and he didn't work. People rejected him. So were you ultimately right that Conan wasn't the performer that everyone had hoped he'd be?
Well, Conan had an amazing run in the 12:30 slot.
He did. Is it an amazing run, though? He never beat the guy on CBS. He never beat, what's that British guy?
Ferguson.
Craig
You always
Ferguson.
have trouble with that name.
I know.
No, at 12:30, Conan did great.
Conan was number one.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Late night was number one.
Right.
Jay, 15 years at the top. You know, the question, of course, is, when you are a dominant number one in late night, do you throw the guy out who's sitting on the top of the throne?
You thought that was how come you didn't write about Leno at all in your book, and you didn't talk about Leno versus Letterman? You didn't write about your thoughts about Leno now?
Bill Carter Carter. I mean, your buddy Bill Carter has really done outstanding books about that.
But your perspective
the
is
late
unique.
shift, yes, but the late shift is out there. Bob Balaban played me on the late shift,
right?
And Bill's last book, all about the battle, the next round of the battle in late night. That's all been done.
So are you proven right? Because you were one of the guys who said Jay should be the 11:30 guy, take over the Tonight Show over Letterman, and everyone at the time said, how could you do that? How could you do that to Dave? And meanwhile, you were proven right. I guess Jay has been the dominant number one. At first, it didn't look it was going to be that way, and then about 2 years, it kicked in, and Jay became number one ever since.
Yeah, the goal, Howard, always was, how do you keep both guys? You got David Letterman, who's been doing it for a decade.
Right.
You've got Jay Leno, who has had 300 guest hosting appearances.
And did well every time, sitting in for Johnny, better than Johnny.
Absolutely.
Right.
So when Johnny surprises all of us and says, and it was my first upfront presentation, I am presenting the fall schedule. I am at Carnegie Hall.
Here, drink some water. Your mouth's dry.
Oh, thank you.
Come here. You need water. Go ahead. Yeah, so you want some water? No, you're good. Okay.
I got it. Thank you.
All right.
So
really.
So Johnny surprises us.
Right.
When he comes out, I go, don't go away. I know we're running late. Johnny comes out and says, it's been wonderful, and this is my last year.
Wow.
No one knew, and I'm like, holy shit.
And you're the network president.
My first time out there saying, here's my new fall schedule, and I know we're running late. I got a big surprise. Don't go anywhere.
And Johnny Carson announces, I'm not working anymore.
He said, it will be my 30th year. It's been a wonderful run. Thank you very much.
So in other words, the position you were in is like, damn, I got to scramble quick. I've got to make a decision. Do I go with Letterman or do I go with Leno? How close did you come to using Letterman instead of Leno?
It divided the company in half. There was a East Coast versus West Coast riff.
Right.
And by many rights, it should have been Dave's show.
Right.
But Michael Ovitz represented David Letterman.
Right.
He was handling the negotiation. And they handled it as though they had Johnny Carson.
Right.
And they made it so punitive and so difficult. So what's my job, Howard? My job is, are there choices?
So it sounds to me like in your mind at that time, you might have gone with Dave if Ovitz hadn't been such a ball buster on that contract. Because I could guess that Ovitz came in like he had Johnny Carson, so it was like, Letterman needs to control the hour after him. Letterman needs to do this. Letterman needs to have ownership.
Needs to, all that stuff.
And Johnny earned that later in his career. You don't get that at first.
That's absolutely true. And so the fact of the matter is, we had Jay Leno, who was a great rising star.
And made it easy for you.
Absolutely. And we also had a guy who sat there, and it was his time, David Letterman. Right. Very different talent, both very talented. So in my position, who do you got? What are you going to do?
Right. Interesting.
And so we got to it was a GE conference in Boca Raton.
Right.
Late at night, and we're all sitting around a table, bad wine, warm soda. Mm-hmm. Everyone wants to go to bed. And it becomes the final discussion of what do we do?
Lord, what pressure.
Yeah.
Is being a network president like the most pressure ever? More than any job beside president of the United States. It is tremendous pressure. In fact, when you think about it, it's the dumbest job in the world. Because
it should be fun.
Warren, eventually you're going to be thrown out. You can't possibly have a winning season every single season, right?
Well, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
But you have to love it. I mean, Howard, if
do you miss
didn't... Oh, yeah. I loved it. It's a wonderful sandbox where you play with creativity. You wouldn't be here this morning if you didn't love what you do.
Who is the greatest network programmer of all time? And I'm going to ask this.
Emulate?
Is it because... I've had my differences with Les, but Les Moonves has managed to stay on. How many years now as the network president? It's an amazing track record,
well,
isn't
he's the CEO, but CBS just hit 10 years in a row #1 in total viewers.
Right.
So they're not the youngest.
Right.
Fox is.
Right.
But #1 total viewers 10 years in a row, that's a consistent vision for what is that network.
So is he the greatest programmer of television that has ever lived? I mean, you could...
He's a great run. I think you have to... Fred Silverman was amazing.
Why is he amazing, though? He kind of burned out in terms of longevity.
Fred ran 3 networks.
That's true.
Fred sees the world and turns it into ideas. Fred has such a fertile mind.
So for every super train he comes up with, though, he comes up with 1 million hits, right?
Yeah, Matlock, In the Heat of the Night. Fred...
Did you work with him? Was he your mentor?
When I started at NBC, Fred was there for about a year.
So in your mind, Fred Silverman is the greatest network television programmer of all times.
Fred was amazing in his creativity in the range of things that could get him excited. And then Brandon Tartikoff, who was my boss, Brandon had the same love of the medium that Fred had. And Brandon, now you needed to edit both of them. Because
refresh my memory. Was it that Brandon got sick and that's why he ended up losing his job, or was he tossed out too?
No, Brandon wasn't tossed out at all. Brandon had an amazing run through the 80s,
right,
and went off to Paramount to run features, and that didn't work.
Right, but it was a good idea. And you. To become a network president, I think you beat the odds. I know a lot of guys at NBC right now who all want to be the network president, and yet it's almost guaranteed that it will come to a disastrous end. And then a lot of you guys go into programming, but very few really know how to go into production. But very few have hit shows. Is that true? It's difficult.
Oh, it's very difficult.
Right. It's a different end.
Oh, yeah. It's a different beast. Different muscles.
But why is it everyone goes off with that programming deal? They're going to do production. They're going to...
Well, because they think they can do it because you were on the other side. You were buying programs.
Look, you have a pretty good education.
Right.
And it's a bet. Everything's a bet. It's a roll of the dice. And you only get those kinds of deals if you've proven when you're in the job that you can perform and you've got the pulse. You have a track record.
If I want to be a network president, what is the best way to go about it? Where do you go to school to become a network president?
You, Howard, could buy a network, and then you will say,
but you know what I mean.
I am the president.
There's someone listening to this broadcast right now, young guy. He's going into communications. He wants to be at a network, and his eventual goal is to get there and pick the programs that we watch on television. Like I'm working with guys over at NBC. They're getting to do that. I'm working with some of the young executives. They all tell me secretly they want to run a network one day. How do you get to do it? Where's the education come in?
You start by watching everything. Every single thing that's on every network, cable, everywhere. You need to be able to talk about the material.
So when Mom says, don't watch so much TV, she's not necessarily right.
You're correct. And I used to fake that I was sick. I would stay home during the day, right? And I would watch television because I loved it.
And you read about these executives, and you learn the business, and then you go what? You become a page at one of these networks?
The starter job is critical. And, Bill Cosby once hired a woman, Yvette Lee Bowser, and she was his sandwich girl.
Wow.
And she was there to make lunch.
Jesus.
And Yvette Lee Bowser says, Mr. Cosby, I'm also a writer. And he goes, not yet, you're not.
Right.
He said, you're the sandwich girl. So when you show me that you make the best sandwich I've ever had, you may be the writer girl. So the end of that story is she created 3 series.
What were the 3?
She went on to A Different World.
Wow.
Was a co-executive producer, and then created a couple of shows after that. Not massive hits, but she had a great career.
It's funny. My lunch is horrible. Can I hire her? Can I hire her to make me a sandwich? Because I tell you, I cannot get a good lunch around here.
Gary probably could find somebody.
Oh, he's the worst. He doesn't help me find the lunch. So when you want to be a network president, what was your entry level job?
Comedy development. So
that's a pretty good entry-level job.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to school?
I graduated with a degree in psychology from Hobart and William Smith.
That's a good school, Hobart.
Yeah, it's a good, small, liberal arts
school. And you walk out of college with your degree, and you say, did you have in mind, I want to run a network one day?
No. I started to work at a production company.
Right.
And I learned production. And then I looked to the people who were running it, and I said, so what's next? What's going to go into production? They go, well, we don't have anything. I go, well, that's a problem, because I won't have a job.
That's right.
And I said, so you need ideas. You need development dollars. You need scripts.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, I guess we do. And so I just said, well, I better create some stuff or I'm out of work.
Right.
And so I moved up. I moved along, and a couple years later, they asked me to be president of the company, and I went, well, this is a mistake.
Right.
I can't be president of anything.
Why?
I was a kid. I didn't know anything. So I said, I got to go to California.
And you went out there and you got a job with NBC?
No, I got a job first at Warner Brothers Television.
Right.
They put me in comedy development, and then Brandon Tartikoff hired me, comedy development, NBC.
You must have developed something great for everyone to start noticing.
Yeah, why
you.
did they notice
No.
No, it doesn't matter.
I had instincts.
Yeah.
I did my homework. I had a degree in psychology.
Right.
I was playing catch-up.
Could you make a good sandwich?
I can make a good sandwich.
Go back to Leno and
dress
Letterman
well.
for a second. Go back to Leno and Letterman. So the night you make the decision, it's not your decision alone to make, but you're one of the people that thinks Leno should be there instead of Letterman.
I advocated for Jay. I believed that, I said, look, if we're replacing a man who's done this job for 30 years.
Right.
So if you want the 5-year plan, then just take David Letterman because he's better prepared.
Right.
But if we're going to allow ourselves to think, can we do that in this room, folks? Can we think about not 5, but 10 and 15? Can we think long term? Because I believe Jay Leno will not sleep at night until he succeeds, until he's number one. I think that's the person we want as our partner.
When those guys, and it makes sense to me in the sense that Ovitz was becoming unstrong and making the deal very, very difficult. So from a network's point of view, I bet you Letterman didn't even understand that.
I suspect he didn't. And remember, the goal was, can you keep both of them?
Right.
But Les Moonves said to both Jay and Dave, hey, there's only one Tonight Show.
Right.
We'll take either one of you guys.
Right.
He sent them gifts, both of them, and said, guys, one of you is going to be here. And so ultimately, how did it work out? Well, Dave has made a great living, and Jon Stewart's made a great living, and the whole world, post Johnny Carson doing the Tonight Show, the world changed.
So do you guys hear a noise, like a banging or rubbing noise? What is that? Is that a mic? It's distracting the hell out of me. What is that?
I did hear something.
Yeah.
I thought it was your microphone.
No, you hear that? Yeah. What is that? You hear that?
Yeah.
What is that, Warren? You're a production guy. Do you hear it?
I hear a little fuzz.
Huh.
But maybe that's me.
All right, maybe I'm screwed up. All right. Anyway, so getting back to this, because I'm fascinated by the world of network television and all the decisions. The night that Jay Leno goes on TV, again, you guys don't hear that?
I hear
Why is that making me fucking crazy? Warren, help me here.
I was trying to concentrate
You're
on
always
Warren.
fucking crazy.
Does anyone know what that is? No?
The person who doesn't hear it is Scott, who could fix it.
He doesn't know what to do. Trust me. Let me see. Let me turn off your mic for a second, Warren. I'm going to turn off all the mics and figure it out. Hello? Now I don't hear it. Here's Robin's mic. Let me hear you, Robin. Say something. Yeah, it's Robin's mic. What are you doing over there? What are you banging into? Something's hit.
No, it's not her.
It's not Robin. Okay. It's the guest. Oh, it's your guest mic. What are you hitting into, Warren? It's you.
Where's my guest? Where's my mic?
I don't know. You're doing something. You
on your headphone.
It's on your headphone. Let me see. What is that noise? Huh, it's weird. Something's banging in.
I'm not banging, Howard.
All right, don't worry about it then. I won't screw up this interview by interrupting you. All right, so here's the night. The night is Jay Leno goes on against Letterman. It comes a time. Are you nervous inside because this has been mostly pushed by you that Jay Leno should take over the Tonight Show? Are you sitting there watching everything that he's doing and waiting for the ratings to come out?
Howard, I am shitting.
Right.
Okay? In my pants, I am scared to death. And in that first year, I'm convinced that my tombstone will say, Warren Littlefield, the man who killed late-night television.
And then the next day,
NBC.
all the newspapers are saying, Dave beat Jay, because don't forget, in the beginning, Dave beat Jay.
He did.
And it looked like you made a huge mistake, and everyone was laughing at you guys. You went into business with Jay Leno. You all look like idiots. Were you afraid you were going to lose your job at that point?
You know, I wasn't afraid I was going to lose my job. I was scared to death that I had made a mistake there.
Right.
Now, primetime is starting to work, and that's a lot of money.
Yes.
So some hits are rolling in, and that's the good news.
Right.
But in late night, I'm scared to death. And what we realized is the shadow of Johnny Carson is immense.
Did Johnny want Dave to be the...
Johnny, first of all, we didn't ask Johnny what to do.
Right, because that's silly.
But of course we knew that his relationship with Dave was a very, very good one. And so what we realized for Jay is we had to rebuild the show.
Right.
For Jay. We had to restructure it. We had to learn. He had to grow. That took time.
Yeah, because even though Jay was filling in for Johnny all those nights, now it had to become the Jay Leno Tonight Show.
And we changed the audience structure.
They moved the audience closer, right?
Moved the audience closer, got in a new stage because it wasn't Johnny's stage.
Right.
And really make it his own show.
Did Johnny ever call you after he said, I'm not coming back to Tonight Show? Did he ever call and say, I'm sorry, I'm doing this to you, Warren? I know you're new on the job, or he just didn't care? He just left?
He gave America 30 years.
Understood.
And
we're asking what he gave you.
Did he give you a phone call?
No,
he didn't.
He announced it at Carnegie Hall.
Right.
And that was it.
That was it. It was over. Poor you. You know, I still
change, right?
It just seems so crazy to me that somebody would become a network program guy to try to pick the shows that America's going to love.
When you see everybody eventually go down in flames.
Yes, I'm telling you, it is the craziest career because
it's not a great job.
When you finally get the job,
it's a wonderful job.
How many years did you last as the head of the network?
9 years.
That's pretty incredible.
Hey, must see TV. The 90s on Thursday nights in the 90s, 75 million Americans watched Thursday night.
And you developed must-see TV. You developed all those shows.
All those programs.
And so why would
Friends, Seinfeld, Frasier, open your gift, Howard.
I know, but when the networks fired you, were you angry? Were you when NBC said to you, "Okay, Warren," and this is what happened.
Your run is over.
They said, according to your book, you're a dry hole. Right?
What?
Didn't they? They said you don't have any more ideas. We've used you up. We're getting rid of you. Doesn't that burn your ass after you developed must-see TV? Were you a dry hole?
Apparently some people thought so.
Who thought that? Don Ohlmeyer?
Don Ohlmeyer.
Who is Don Ohlmeyer? Explain to my audience.
Don Ohlmeyer was my boss.
Right.
And Don Ohlmeyer...
he didn't like you, did he?
Don was kind of a bully. He had a big problem with alcohol.
Yeah.
And we fought over everything.
But why wouldn't he like the guy who developed must-see TV? And how many people watched must-see TV on the Thursday night lineup? It was what?
75 million Americans.
Why wouldn't he
were
kiss
watching.
your balls and taint if you developed that? I don't understand.
Well, I think at one point when we finally had so much success. Now you have to understand, Thursday night, if you combine the other three networks together, we still were beating them by a 60% margin.
So why would this guy hate you? Is it because you got all the credit? I've worked for guys where I've made their station #1, and they hate me for it.
Yeah. Well, Yeah. So Don's ego was, I've had a lot to do with this. And finally, a guy that I had to fight to do ER, to do West Wing, to do Will and Grace.
He wanted none of those shows.
That's right. So everything was a battle. And
so why does Don get to stay there and you don't? Isn't there someone, can't you go to Jack Welch and say, Jack, I'm the fucking guy who developed all this stuff. Why are you listening to Don Ohlmeyer?
They chose to listen to Don.
Did you get angry?
You know what? I didn't. I was in shock. I think I was in shock, Howard.
When you get fired from a big job like that, is it humiliating? Do you want to crawl in a hole and die? Even when people call and say, oh, Warren, I'm so sorry. You don't even want to hear it?
Yeah, I it took me a while to just process it.
Right.
And then I was like, okay, move on.
Do all your friends go away? A lot of them, once you're not the network president?
Well, walking across a restaurant, you actually can make it from the door to your table and not get pitched 6 shows.
And do you miss that kind of action?
It's fun.
It's incredible fun. Do you make enough money? Do you make just one thought? Do you make enough money as a network president that after 9 years, because you know your time's going to be up at some point, someone's going to say you're gone.
That's right.
Do they pay you?
You make a lot of money.
Do you make enough money that you can retire after something like that?
Yes.
You do.
Yeah. So
they pay you millions.
Yes. I had 3 forms of compensation.
Go ahead.
A salary.
Yes.
That didn't matter. That was just like fun money.
Okay.
Right? Bonuses. Now remember, we're a part of GE at the time.
Yes.
Performance is rewarded. So every sweep you win, every season you win, prime time, late night, those are all bonus pools.
You get an incentive.
So maximized all of those.
Yes.
Right?
And why not? If you do well, you make money.
Hey, tap on the ass.
Right.
Well done.
What's the third compensation?
GE stock.
Right.
And Jack Welch, in the 90s.
He was good.
Hey, the stock went through the roof.
Yeah.
It was a robust time. So far and away, my greatest compensation ended up being the value of the stock.
Right.
Then the bonuses.
Right.
And then the salary.
The salary isn't much.
Hey.
That salary's good, but the other stuff is better.
Do you get a golden parachute when you leave? Do they say, okay, we're giving you a kick in the ass, we're sending you out, but do they give you some sort of like big ass bonus just because you paid your dues and you went all through the network system?
I had bonuses and things, and I had stock options that still matured. And
could you walk out with $30 million?
I walked out with a lot of money, Howard.
Wow.
Not Howard Stern money, but I did really well.
You can still make you can make your payments on your house and all that stuff.
So being a network president, do you get a certain amount of time? Because when you come in, you seem to get stuck with another guy's programs for a couple of years.
That's right.
How much turnaround time do you get before they start giving you the evil eye?
You better make moves after a year. You better have something that says, hey, I know what I'm doing.
So you came into NBC, they were doing lousy, right?
Different Strokes and Hello, Larry. That was the comedy lineup, okay?
That's pretty bad.
Really bad.
So you go out and you find, let's think about it. Seinfeld. You got Cheers.
Cheers, I was the low man on the totem pole, but at the end of the first season, the lowest rated show in all of the network competition.
Right.
At the bottom of the heap is Cheers.
Cheers.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay?
Cheers.
But we renewed it. Because we liked it, we believed in it, it changed the DNA of NBC.
Cheers was a huge hit. The guy the network wanted to hire to play Sam Malone, it says in your book.
Fred Dryer.
Was Fred Dryer, Hunter.
Yeah.
And Fred Dryer hadn't done Hunter yet. That's the show you gave him instead of Cheers.
Mm-hmm.
But you said, I don't want Fred Dryer because he's too old?
No, I actually thought Fred Dryer gave a great audition.
Right.
Here's the key. We listened to Jimmy Burrows and the Charles brothers.
Jim Burrows is a genius, right?
He's a genius.
He said Fred Dryer is not good for the part. He knew.
He said, I got what I got out of Fred. It was a long, tough process. Now we're going to do a series. We're going to do 24 episodes a year, and you better be good.
Ted Danson was your pick?
Ted Danson was the Charles brothers and Jimmy Burrows' pick.
And no one really knew Ted Danson.
No.
He was an unknown.
Hey, we made stars.
Isn't it amazing how sometimes
we listened to the executive producers. We thought the upside for Fred Dryer probably was the biggest upside.
Wow. Impressive.
But we listened to the people we got in business with.
On Cheers, Kelsey Grammer made his mark too, right?
Absolutely.
And Cheers, where you have a situation at a bar, you say it was pitched like a Miller Lite commercial. It was going to be a Miller Lite commercial as a half-hour sitcom, right? And people were, okay, some were happy and this and that. Some people were pushing for William Devane to be Sam Malone.
He also auditioned. It was a great audition, but somehow Ted and Shelley made it fresh. It was young, and there absolutely was a sparkle.
Shelley Long was the original girl in Cheers. Did she commit the ultimate career suicide by leaving Cheers and being a big pain in the ass?
She thought she had a feature career.
And she didn't. Did you tell her you don't have a feature career? Did you sit her down and try and talk sense to her?
You know, I didn't. Basically, she had a plan. She was very clear in her plan. She
But when you have a star like that, and the network's making a fortune off of Cheers, don't you make some last-ditch attempt to convince her that she's committing career suicide?
We did. The Charles brothers and Jimmy did.
Right.
And ultimately, she had a plan. And we moved on. It was the greatest thing that ever happened to the show.
Kelsey Grammer.
Kirstie Alley comes in.
Yeah.
And we went more years with Kirstie Alley than we had Shelley Long. And it changed what the show was, and that's a good thing.
And it changed it, you say, for the better, right? It became bigger. Kirstie Alley, are you surprised how heavy she became later on in life? Because that was a beautiful woman, right?
That was a beautiful woman.
Yes.
She's still very beautiful.
All right. and
there's just more of her to love.
Was she a pain in the ass to work with?
No,
she was easy.
Great.
She was fun. You were ultimately glad that Shelley Long was gone.
Well, I had nothing against Shelley Long, but you know what? Thank you, Kirstie Alley, because she nailed it.
When you're a network president and you have a talent as big as Kelsey Grammer, who's a big breakout star on his own, he goes on to do Frasier. Did you develop Frasier?
Yes, I did.
Okay. But you know he's fucking crazy. Because wasn't he crashing his car and wasn't he having legendary...
We gave him that car.
I was going to say, NBC gave him how many cars?
Why did you decide to give him a car knowing he was going to wrap it around the tree?
Well, we didn't really know how much coke and alcohol he was doing.
Right.
We gave him a Viper.
Yes.
Okay.
The fastest car.
Yes.
Give him a kitty car.
The fastest car on the road.
Why not give him a couch so he can lay there instead of going up?
Where were you when I needed you?
But when you
That is good advice.
Do you sit a guy like that down ever and have to give him a life lesson, or is he just too important to the network and you say, screw it, let's look the other way and let's just keep going? Because
I was at his home for the intervention. And so I walked into his kitchen where all the hangers-on were, all the riffraff who were sponging off of Kelsey.
Right.
And I walked in and I said, the party's fucking over.
Wow.
Get out and never come back here.
Oh.
And
so you're the network president. You say to him, even though Frasier is a huge...
No, I said that to all the people who were sponging off of Kelsey.
Oh, you said that to them. Get out.
And we cleared all the riffraff out. We
and then who's we? You and the other network guys?
No. I was the only one from the network there.
Who else is there?
The head of Paramount and the other cast members.
Of Cheers.
People of,
How fun.
of Frasier.
Of Frasier.
In Kelsey's living room.
How fun is that? Why don't I ever get to go to a good intervention?
Well,
throw out the riffraff.
Yeah, I wouldn't throw out the riffraff.
I'm sure you'd be good at it.
No, but seriously, Warren, you went in there and you sit down. I'm sure you're probably saying to yourself, "Oh, why are we doing this? It could make Kelsey leave the show, and you need that show on the air."
We knew that Kelsey was in trouble.
How bad was he? Was he not showing up for the show?
Kelsey is brilliant.
Yes.
He's like a surgeon at what he does.
Yes.
And those surgical skills were eroding quickly.
Right.
And we could see it. We could feel it.
What do you see? What did you see in his performance that was different?
He wasn't as prepared. He wasn't...
In other words, he didn't know his lines.
Yeah, and, it wasn't Charlie Sheen bad.
Right.
But we knew he was in trouble. And so, long term, there's only one decision. It's get help.
Was it your first intervention?
Yeah.
Do you hold off the intervention until the season is over so he can do it on hiatus, go into rehab?
No, it was a crisis.
Wow. Right in the middle of filming.
Oh yeah.
So how do you afford to do that as a network?
We shut down. You run repeats. You figure it out. I mean,
what do they serve at the intervention? It's got to be wonderfully catered. I mean, it's Hollywood. It's a big star. It must be great.
It was out in the valley, actually.
So who was at the intervention? All the stars were there from the show.
Yes, most of the cast was there.
What did you say to them? You are done here unless you go to rehab.
What we said is, we love you. You need help.
Wow.
And that's why we're here. And to his credit...
He listened.
He did. And ultimately there was a car waiting out in the driveway that said...
Carting him off. How long did he leave for?
30 days.
Did anyone at the network say, what the fuck is wrong with you? Do you just get him in there and make sure he keeps doing that show? Did anyone say that to you?
No.
That's good.
No.
See, because they always paint the network as unfeeling, you know? They do, and yet you knew enough to do that, right?
I felt.
Howard?
Yes.
There was more than one intervention with Kelsey.
How many did you do?
That was the big one that I did. There was, with Cheers, when he was on Cheers, there was a brief one, but
isn't it so sad?
Really hold.
Because you see it firsthand as a network president. There's so many people who are hungry for fame, actors who never make it, actors who don't understand. In fact, you describe in your book, on Friends, Jennifer Aniston used to say to you all the time, when is it going to be my turn? Will it ever be my turn? That was the quote.
That's absolutely right.
You see, there's so many actresses who never get that turn. And then you see a guy like Kelsey, who gets the break, who's making huge money. He was the highest paid network star, wasn't he?
He was right up there. But, you know, Howard, here's the thing. He didn't think he deserved success. His family has a tragic... Everyone in his family murdered, died. His family history is biblical.
Right.
Okay? So in his
were his parents murdered or something, or
a brother, and it's an awful.
So you can see why he tried to drown out the feelings.
And most of your life as an actor is rejection.
Right.
It's very, very hard to cope with massive, massive success.
Right.
So, so people have issues. I mean, why wouldn't they?
When you developed Friends, isn't it true that Jamie Kurtz turned down the Jennifer Aniston role?
Well,
do I have that right?
Jamie Kurtz or Jamie Gertz?
Gertz. I'm sorry. Yeah, Jamie Gertz. I remember her.
Yeah. Jennifer Aniston, we had done Ferris Bueller's Day Off with her. She was Ferris's sister.
Right.
Of course, we did it without John Hughes. How stupid is that?
You did it. You did a TV show of.
We did a TV show.
Right.
And we loved Jennifer Aniston. We did some pilots. They were horrible.
Wow.
Then I have the moment with her, Sunset Boulevard, late at night, Chevron gas station, we're filling up, and she says, will it ever happen for me? And I said, God, I want it to.
Right.
And I meant that.
Because you saw her as a potential star.
I saw the star power.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, this can work. Finally, we have the Friends script.
Right.
She's in a deal. Now it's CBS.
Oh, my God.
Les puts her in a show called Muddling Through.
Right.
So we looked everywhere else. We wanted someone else to be in that role because we couldn't have Jennifer in first position. And finally, we just said, you know what? We'll take her in second position. We'll take the risk. Problem is, we do the pilot. Muddling Through is going to series.
Yeah.
So we are sharing Jennifer Aniston. Warner Brothers looks at me and they say, if you make episodes of Friends, you're paying for them if we have to reshoot the episodes without Jennifer because we don't own the rights to Jennifer. We're not in first position.
Wow.
And I just said, you know what? We're doing it.
Wow. So you could have had to, you might have had to scrap all of the Friends episodes if Muddled Through didn't get canceled.
Muddling Through, we made 6 episodes of Friends. A couple $1 million a piece. And Business Affairs looks at me and they go, you're out of your mind.
Because you don't have the rights to use her.
I said,
Les Moonves had the rights to her.
Yeah.
How did you convince Les to let go of her?
It was a bad show. And
Muddling Through was a bad show.
It was a really bad show. They put it on. We scheduled against it.
Did Jennifer Aniston have to go to Les Moonves and said, please let me out?
She went to Les and she asked to be released. The answer was no. Ultimately,
how did she get out of her deal?
America voted. America decided. They put Muddling Through on, and it died. And my question was, are they going to fuck us by picking up a really bad show and making more of them?
Right.
And the answer was, that didn't make sense.
So once the show was canceled, she was free to do Friends. That's the way it works.
And we had her.
Wow. Lucky for her. Can you imagine the shakes she must have gone through thinking that, man, because you knew right away.
She was doing double duty.
And you knew that Friends was going to be a big hit, right? You felt it.
Research sucked.
It did?
Yeah. The research was a high week
What didn't they like about it? They didn't like the chemistry between the four of them?
They thought it was very narrow. 6.
Was Courtney Cox... Oh, right, 6. Was Courtney Cox always in? Was she the choice?
Courtney was always in. Everyone loved Courtney.
The show was written for that dude who played Ross, Schwimmer. Isn't that amazing? He was the big star.
Early on, he was the first one to pop.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they wrote it for him, mostly.
They heard David Schwimmer. In their heads was David Schwimmer.
The network was afraid to have Matt LeBlanc's character date Rachel because they felt it was like incest, right?
Oh, well, that's deep on in the show.
Yeah.
Actually, Matt LeBlanc, and he went to the writers and said, what are you doing? And they said, we know this is dangerous. You need to let us go there.
Did Schwimmer ever fuck Jennifer Aniston in real life?
Not that I'm aware of.
You don't know that stuff. Don't they have to go to you? You're the network president before any of them
get approval? Yeah, I make them sign.
Isn't that detrimental, though, to a show when the cast members end up having sex with each other because eventually it ends in an ugly breakup, and a lot of times they can't work together, right?
That cast was unbelievably in sync.
Right.
They, as young kids, out there together, and none of them had any level of success. It was all the beginning. But we believed that television makes stars.
Well, it does. And Schwimmer was supposed to be the big star, and he probably could have asked for more money than the rest of them in the beginning. But he wisely went to them and said, let's negotiate as a group. We'll all get the same thing.
Yeah, Warner Brothers and NBC went to the cast and said, hey, let's get more years. Things are working. This is all good. And Schwimmer said, why don't we all just be equals? I don't want to go to work and know that someone else is paid more. And Schwimmer could have been at the high end if they had just... And he just
said... As a network president, are you like, oh, shit, that Schwimmer's a big fucking problem. He's getting them all negotiated the same...
No, actually, the feeling was... I don't think they ever would have done it for a decade together. If they didn't have that sense of equality. Now, ultimately, that egalitarian sensibility that David Schwimmer asked them to embrace, it ended up working powerfully on their behalf as they renegotiated contract after contract after
Isn't it weird how Schwimmer, he's sort of nowhere now, right? I mean,
he directs.
He directs. What's he directing? He does? He writes?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I thought he was in a retirement home. I didn't know.
Well, you know what, Howard? He could do anything he wants after Friends.
Cosby Show. Let's talk. There's a couple of shows I got to ask you about. We're talking to Warren Littlefield, of course. The new book, Top of the Rock, is in stores now. I find this stuff fascinating. And you know what it is? When network presidents are in charge of the network, they don't talk about anything. So now we got you in place. Cosby.
I'll say anything, Howard.
The network did not want Bill Cosby, right? They were kind of like,
No.
No? They wanted him.
No. Tom Werner and Marcy Carsey said, we want to do this show with Bill Cosby. It is a war in the living room between parents and their teenage kids.
Yeah, but Cosby didn't want to do that show. Didn't he want to play a bus driver or something? Or a
Cosby wanted to be a limo driver in a 1-hour show.
And you said no.
Nope. Carsey Werner are the ones who looked at Bill Cosby and said, you make a very good living going out on the stage, you sit for 2 hours, you smoke a cigar, and you tell the audience about your life. That's the show you should do.
They were smart.
And Bill said, you know what, you're right, let's do that.
He listened for a change.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, so we said, Bill Cosby and that idea, we're in. Okay?
You greenlight that.
We greenlight it. However, they have no writer, okay?
Right.
They have Bill and an idea, and it's really late in the season, and we don't have a deal, and we almost lose it because it looked like the deal was going to be too tough to make. And
Why? Because Bill wanted too much money?
Competitive landscape.
Oh, CBS wanted it too?
Well, so everyone's scratching their heads. Does this deal make sense? All we can do is a demo. The demo will be done in L.A. Then the show will be done in New York. That's going to be costly. And I throw myself on the floor and I beg Business Affairs.
Right.
Now, I'm the comedy guy.
Did you ever lose shows that became hit shows because Business Affairs wouldn't listen to you begging?
Actually, I got to tell you, they would listen.
Right.
And when I said, you know what, I know you're being very complimentary. You think that I don't need this because my other development's good. I promise you, I need it.
When you say a deal is no good, that means the network isn't getting a big enough cut of the action, right?
Or it's just too expensive going in.
Right.
And ultimately, we stepped up a bit. They went to ABC, and ABC goes, Bill Cosby, I don't think so.
Big mistake, right?
Yeah, ABC passes.
Wow.
So then...
Biggest show ever, right?
It changed NBC's life. In the 80s, Bill Cosby turns on the lights. So Cheers, the lowest rated show in all of television, Cheers all of a sudden, because it was a good show.
Right.
But Cosby comes on, 35 million Americans watch the first night.
And what do you follow that with, Cheers?
Well, we followed it with Family Ties, Michael J. Fox.
Big hit.
But we had this thing called Cheers, so we say to the audience, stick around, stick around.
Right.
We got this other, and the next decade, Cheers is the tentpole for Thursday night.
It's unbelievable. Seinfeld was a failure at first, right? They wanted to get rid of that show.
Well, you want to talk about bad research?
Yeah.
Open up your gift, Howard.
What is this gift?
That's relevant to your question.
I don't want a gift.
Matt Lauer comes over. Does he bring something?
No.
Oh, well, that's bad on Matt.
He didn't come over. Oh, this is a script. I loved it. Oh, what is this?
All right, this is...
Oh, man. This is a signed copy of Seinfeld, one of the original scripts written by Larry David.
Wow.
This is the contest. This is the masturbation episode.
Wow.
We made these scripts as broadcast.
Is this the original script?
That is the as broadcast script. I made that for all the advertisers who did not run away when we did an episode about masturbation.
How much is this worth? How much is this worth?
There are not a lot of those out.
Just tell me the bottom line. I'm going to sell it. How much is it
on
worth?
eBay?
Yeah.
You ungrateful bastard.
What do you mean ungrateful? I'm very grateful. I'm going to buy a gift for myself.
Fucker.
I'm going to buy something I really need. What is this worth?
A lot of money.
Tell me what it's worth.
As much as Bill Cosby's sweater.
Really? Well, in that case, I'll save it. Thank you. That's very, very nice of you. Talk to me about Seinfeld for a second here, because I could talk this stuff all day.
The research was a disaster. They knew who Jerry Seinfeld was.
Right.
They did not like the show.
Is it true, and I don't think anybody knows this, it's revealed in your book, that the part that Julia Louis-Dreyfus played, what's her name?
Elaine.
That a person who auditioned for that, one of the people, was Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah.
And what happened? Why would she not be...
They never brought Rosie in to see us.
Right.
But Larry, you could see it in Curb Your Enthusiasm. He's very funny playing off of Rosie.
Yeah, he loves Rosie.
He loves Rosie.
Also Megan Mullally.
Now,
from Will and Grace.
Megan Mullally auditioned... Mullally, whatever the hell she is, auditioned for Elaine.
Mullally. Thank you, Robin.
And she lost out to Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Now, here's the irony. She also, Julia Louis-Dreyfus went to college with Megan, and Megan's first boyfriend broke up with her to go out with Julia. So this girl keeps losing to Julia Louis-Dreyfus in life, right?
And then that ended up being Julia's husband.
Right. Tell me this, because this is unbelievable. Jerry Seinfeld was the highest paid guy on television at one point. He came to you because he was very upset because someone else was running around saying they were the highest paid. Who was running around saying they were the highest paid?
Tim Allen made a new deal for Home Improvement.
Right.
You have to appreciate the fact that when we first put Seinfeld on, initially we did Summer behind Cheers. It did okay.
Right.
We hung in there.
Brilliant hanging in there.
Yeah.
You guys normally just...
We just believed in Jerry and Larry.
Right.
Okay? And we got the hell out of the way.
Right.
They didn't know what they were doing.
Right.
And we allowed them to figure it out.
Doesn't that demoralize, though, a guy like Jerry Seinfeld when he's got the show and it's not doing well, and then you kind of go, why am I still doing this show? They're
Jerry
giving me charity.
was never demoralized.
Never.
He worked and worked to promote that show.
Jerry believed in it. He's so...
But would he be so depressed?
Jerry is glass half full. Larry, when I called and said, hey, I'm ordering 13 episodes, Larry said to Jerry, tell him we don't want to do them. And
why?
He said, I have no more ideas.
Is that what he said?
We'd only made 5.
Right.
That was it. We had done 5.
Was it a difficult relationship for Jerry and Larry? Were they not great friends after a while?
I think it was a brilliant relationship because they saw the world differently and they came together, and their vision is exactly what got on the air.
Why didn't Larry David play himself? George Costanza, the Jason Alexander role, is thought to be Larry David.
It is.
Right.
It absolutely
Why
is.
didn't Larry David? He certainly can act. He's a showman. Why didn't he go on the show himself and make himself into a big star?
Well, first of all, to do a big primetime show, it takes a village. And Jerry was the center, and we already had enough of the writer-creator on camera.
In other words, you needed real actors to support Jerry.
Whoa, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But you also needed a writer to be actually writing.
Yeah, like write the
show. Did Larry David become resentful that Jerry became the household name, Jerry became the big star of the show?
I don't think so. You know, when they went back and did the reunion on Curb Your Enthusiasm, you could see the love. I mean, when Larry left the show, he was miserable that he left.
Right. That was a good year for Jerry. Jerry learned he could actually write the show on his own. He was afraid when Larry David left, right? He was nervous.
But where we started is that Tim Allen was kicking Jerry's butt Wednesday night at 9 o'clock.
Right.
And then Tim gets a new contract.
Right.
And Tim's contract, now Jerry is moved to Thursday.
Right.
All right? Tim gets a new contract, $1 million an episode.
And Jerry became jealous that Tim was running around saying he's the highest paid guy in television.
Big announcement. It's in all the trades. It's in the newspaper. Jerry calls up.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'm calling Tim Allen. And I go, well, why would you want to do that? And he goes, I'm calling Tim Allen, and I'm going to say to him, do you think with me having the #1 show on the #1 night on the #1 network, where I write, I produce, I co-created, and I star, do you really think you're the highest paid?
But don't we all think that? But what did you say to Jerry? Did you say?
I said, Jerry, I'm really glad you got that off your chest.
Right.
Let's just keep it between you and me that you far exceed Tim Allen in what he makes an episode.
Right, because it would have been a really weird phone call for Jerry to make.
I didn't need anyone in the universe to know how much Jerry was making.
Why did Jerry get such a good deal? Because he makes a huge amount of money in syndication and all that. If Jerry was a guy who wasn't doing well in the beginning, they called it the Seinfeld Chronicles, you only signed him for 4 episodes, the show was tanking. Why did Jerry end up with such a lucrative deal on all this back-end stuff?
Remember, Cheers walks away, and when Cheers takes its final victory lap, the final 10 episodes before it goes off the air, Seinfeld goes on behind it and eclipses Cheers. So you want to talk about stepping in and filling the shoes? Unbelievable.
Right.
So we're making massive amounts of money off of this show.
Right.
So we basically made Jerry an employee. We gave him a GE stock plan.
Right.
We gave him a lot of money, and we said, welcome.
Right.
Okay?
So you improved his deal. You sweetened his deal.
Tremendously.
Wow.
That was one of the secrets to your success, because once you got that Thursday night going, you always had another player to step up. You know, first it was Cosby, then it was Cheers, then it was Seinfeld, then it was Friends. That you always had something in development.
And Frasier, then Will and Grace, and ER.
Jerry Seinfeld says his biggest regret is that when he was doing the show, he didn't spend more time enjoying doing the show. He was so caught up in writing it and having to act in it that he didn't have enjoyment.
Well, it's all consuming.
It is.
And if I wanted to find Jerry, weekends, late at night, just call him at the studio. He was always there.
Wow. That's probably why even though you guys offered him $5 million an episode to continue, he turned it down because I think he was burned out, right? He just couldn't keep up at that pace.
We put $110 million on the table, and they never negotiated.
Isn't that insane? Did you think that was crazy?
Well, my bosses said, hey, no one walks away from this.
No one.
No one will walk away.
Right.
We got Jerry Seinfeld. What are you sweating about? And what I said to them is, I want you to listen to me. Jerry's made a lot of money.
Right.
And the words he said to me is, I have no life.
Right.
He looked at me and he said, you're married, you have children. I don't have any of that stuff.
Right.
I need to get a life.
Get a life.
And I may need to get off the stage. And he was very honest. And so...
It's unbelievable. It must have broken your hearts, right?
Let me tell you, that was a difficult one. I really appreciated the honesty, and when it's all said and done, he was right.
Right.
He walked off number one.
Right.
The show still makes $50 million a year in syndication.
It's true.
Just domestic syndication.
Yeah, it was one of those things that never jumped the shark, if you will.
That's absolutely
stayed
true.
Good.
That episode, The Contest.
Yeah. The one that I have the script for that I'm going to sell on eBay?
That's
yes?
right.
Yes.
That's right. If you do, Howard, I'll be bidding for it.
Do you get
that was on last night.
As a network president, and you're controlling all these shows, and you know it's a heady job when it's really working. Do women? I want to know the truth. Do women offer you sexual favors ever?
Yes.
They do.
Absolutely.
You're talking about actresses.
Starlets and actresses.
I got into a limousine one night. It was after a press tour. And there was an actress there who basically was like, so I'm here for you.
Right.
And I was like, oh, my God, I just thought I was getting into the car to go home.
Right.
And so now you're in the position of, if you play this out, you know no good's going to come of it.
No.
And now you're in the position where you have to reject them.
Yeah.
And they're one of your stars.
Ooh.
So I just
This was Jennifer
Which
Aniston,
one
right?
was it? Yeah.
Obviously Jennifer Aniston. I mean, it's pretty easy to read between the lines.
I was extremely complimentary.
Right.
And got out of the car.
Wow.
Oh.
Do you fantasize about that sometimes? I mean, let's face it. As a guy, and we're all guys. Do you ever fantasize about that and say, God, that would have been an incredible night, though? Because whoever you're describing, I don't know who it is, and I doubt you would tell me. But
that's correct.
Yeah, it must have been a gorgeous young woman.
Yes.
I mean, if she made it to network
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. So no. That's one of the joys.
Maybe he's trying to throw. Maybe it was Michael Richards actually who wanted to.
Throw you off.
But seriously, I mean, do you ever sit there sometimes and go, "Wow, what would that night have been like?" Right? I mean, you know, it could have been the end of your career, but nevertheless,
one great
you
night.
made the right move. But do you fantasize about it?
No. I will tell you my best talent story, though.
Okay.
And that is the Andy Dick renegotiation. All right?
I can only imagine.
You know, with Andy Dick.
Right.
So, news radio.
Mm-hmm.
Right. A successful show.
Not hugely, but not bad.
Right.
Okay? And I get a call from Andy Dick's agent, and she says, I'm handling Andy now, and Andy is not going to go to the table read tomorrow. He refuses to go to work because he does not like his compensation. And I go, okay, I get it. You just signed him, and you promised him more money. That's how you got him as a client.
Right.
And she was, and she goes, well, Andy, I can't do anything. He won't listen to me. I don't have a history with him, and he ain't coming to work. So what do you want me to do? I said, tell him to come in at 4. So Andy comes in at 4. Now, Phil Hartman has just died.
Right.
And we still are moving forward with News Radio without Phil.
Wow.
Right.
It's a pretty generous move on our part, okay?
Right, yes. It's a big leap of faith.
So Andy says, I'm not loved, I'm not appreciated, I can't do the show without Phil, it just wouldn't be right, and I've never been properly compensated. I'm going to go and take my story to the world. I'm going to go on Oprah, and I'm going to do this and that.
Yeah. That's some threat.
And I'm like, and I'm listening to this man, and I realize he's from another planet.
Right, of course.
And I looked at him, and I just went, Andy, did you take a shit today? and he goes, what? And I said, it's 4:30 in the afternoon. Have you taken a shit today?
Right.
And he goes, yeah. And I go, okay, good. How was that? And he said, you know, it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
And I go, great. I want you to hold on to that feeling because when I'm done marching the lawyers and everyone up your ass and through your colon, we will tear so many fucking holes into your intestines and your entire lower tract, you'll never have that satisfaction again.
And then did he show up for work?
He looked at me, and I thought, I finally connected with this guy, right? And he said, thank you and goodbye.
Right.
3 minutes later, the agent called and said, I'm not sure what you said, but he'll be at work tomorrow.
Was that the first time you used that story, or had you used it before?
I had never, you know, it just came to me. I looked at his eyes.
It was your moment of brilliance.
Yeah, so that's one of my best negotiations.
Real quick, we're talking about Warren Littlefield. The book is called Top of the Rock. If you really want to know what goes on in network television, this is it. But George Clooney begged you for his job on ER. So he was not the first guy you thought of.
He had a good run on the show Sisters.
Right.
He was wonderful romance and chemistry with Celia Ward. Right. So George was, there was a little sparkle, but he had had so many bad shows. Really bad shit. But George is really smart. He heard about the script. He got a hold of it. Of course, he always was working all the assistants.
Right.
You know, he worked everybody. He was on the Warner lot. He was talking to everybody. He gets it, and he parks himself outside of John Wells' office.
Right.
And he said, I'm not moving until I get to read for Dr. Ross.
Wow.
And John Wells said, well, okay.
It's a good lesson in that, isn't it? Yeah,
absolutely. And
to work the assistants.
And
and also to sit yourself out and say, I'm going to read for this thing.
But you got to get the scripts. That's how he got a hold of all the good ones.
He read it. He studied it. He was prepared. He went in. John Wells calls me up and he goes, George Clooney just read for Dr. Ross. And I said, yeah? He goes, he's really good.
And the smart thing is to look like George Clooney, too, right?
That's how he
doesn't hurt.
Right. Juliana Margulies was on that show. And she walked away. You guys wanted to pay her something like $1 million an episode, and she walked away from it, right?
Well, wait a second.
Yeah.
First of all, she was on Homicide: Life on the Street.
Right.
I said, okay, you guys can go ahead and hire her for the series. She had been a recurring character. In the ER pilot, we killed her off.
Right.
Well, then we all took a deep breath and went, gee, maybe we shouldn't kill her off. And we owned Homicide. So I said, look, you guys can offer her a role. ER, you can offer her the role. We'll let the actress decide.
Wow, nice position to be in.
Yeah.
No wonder her head got big. She probably thought she was going to be a big film star.
Well, I didn't know. I never knew how she made that determination until I met with her for the book. And then I said, how did you make that call?
Right.
Like, why did you go to ER? She goes, well, George called me. George called me. He said he just left you. The character lives, and well, I learned very quickly you never disagree with George.
So he convinced her.
George convinced her to do the role.
Is that one of the all-time dumb moves, though? Her giving up $1 million salary?
I don't know.
Of course. What do you mean you don't know? Of course you know.
No, she walked away from over $25 million, and you know, she did a couple of things out there. And it was time, and she's reinvented herself. She's a star on CBS, on The Good Wife.
If you were ever a fan of must-see TV, this is the guy behind it, Warren Littlefield.
Yeah, the thing I wanted to ask was, there seems to be a lot of politics that go with the job.
Oh, without a doubt.
And that's what seems to be the doing in of almost every programmer. Because at a point when, you know, because you've been fighting with Don Ohlmeyer the whole time, and at a point when things get a little shaky, then they can ask you because you've just been fighting with them the whole time. And I think one of the things, you know, you keep talking about Les Moonves, he's a political animal.
Yeah.
And he plays that game.
What is it, Gary?
No, what Robin's saying, you know, people seem to think that Don Ohlmeyer was a guy that was fun at the country club. He'd drink with you. He'd hang out with you. And he would act like he was your friend, not necessarily the better programmer.
And all you programming guys hate each other because, like you're critical of Jeff Zucker. You feel he killed must-see TV, right? Because he put on The Apprentice on Thursday night.
Absolutely.
He should have kept the sitcom thing going, you're saying.
Well, not just the sitcom. We did very well because we respected the audience, and the audience rewarded us.
Right.
That's not Thursday night at 9 o'clock with The Apprentice, okay?
Right.
You know, that's not taking all the 10 o'clock programming, blowing it out of the water, and because you can't figure out what to do in late night, throwing Jay Leno on at 10 o'clock. It'll take years for them to recover from that move. Respect the audience.
Do you ever go to a party and see Jeff Zucker or one of these other programming guys, and you guys sit there and yell at each other and go, yeah, you shouldn't have done this and you shouldn't have done that, or are you all just like pals and that's it?
I tell them to go talk to Andy Dick.
I see. But doesn't The Apprentice make a lot of money? I mean, that does well, that show. But
yeah, but ultimately it destroyed the very fabric of what we painstakingly built.
Warren Littlefield, the book that you wrote is called Top of the Rock. How long did it take you to write this book?
About 2.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's your life as a network president. No sitting network president will ever write a book. You got to wait till you're out of office, right?
Yeah, well, hey, it's not I'll never work in the town again, but I tell the truth.
Does Seinfeld get pissed at you when you give little inside information, like the fact that he wanted to call Tim Allen?
Everything is from Jerry. Jerry sat down and gave me 2 hours and said, I asked him anything, and he's on the record. He gave me everything. He could not have been more generous.
So you went back and re-interviewed a lot of people.
I interviewed everyone. I interviewed 54 people for this book, and they remember this is a pretty incredibly successful time in their lives.
Yeah.
This is when all these stars became household names.
Yes, the least they could do is sit down with you. You gave them a break.
I gave them a break. It worked out well. It worked out well for everybody. What's that?
Did anybody not sit down with you?
Well, you just look at the list in the book, Robin.
You'll know who's there.
There's a pretty good list.
Is there a celebrity in your mind that you worked with after all those years that is one of your favorites? Like, who is the person that you just said, man, meeting him made me a better person?
You know who was outstanding?
Who?
I did the Today Show a couple weeks ago, and you know, hey, I'm an old suit. So the Today Show wanted some candy. So I said to Deborah Messing, one of NBC's stars today of Smash.
Yeah.
I said, hey, Deborah, would you go on the Today Show with me? In a heartbeat, yes, I would love to.
She's one of your favorites.
Will and Grace, right?
Yeah, Will and Grace.
Deborah Messing.
Another show where I was told, you're out of your mind, do not develop this show.
Because of the gay theme.
Because gay guy, straight girl, best friends, advertisers will kill us. What the fuck are you doing? You can't do this. I was like, you know what? Yes, I can.
As a network guy, isn't George Takei really the reason Star Trek was the show that it was? Honestly. Right, George?
Well, in all humility.
Get close to the mic. Get on the mic, George. You fell asleep.
In all humility, Gene Roddenberry is the guy that really made Star Trek.
Well, there you go. I had to wake up George. I said this.
Oh, no.
All right,
it's absolutely riveting.
It is, isn't it? Was George Takei ever up for the role on Cheers as Sam Malone? Anybody consider him?
I don't know why we never had that option, because George should have been there.
George, you should have auditioned for that. Could Seinfeld...
Let's redo it. Let's redo it with George.
Well, how about Friends, but a gay version with George and his gay friends?
Works for me.
Is that right? It would be fabulous. Yeah, of course. A gay or Will and Grace, if there is such a thing, with George. Something along those lines. Listen, Warren Littlefield, you are fantastic. I love it. How about gay ER? George, would you do that if there was something, a gay ER?
Well, there are a lot of doctors that are, gay.
There are?
Oh, I know that.
A lot of them. That's gone too far.
Scalpel in the left hand.
That's right. That's how you know. All right, listen, Warren. All good things must come to an end. And so I wish you the best of luck with the book. Warren Littlefield's new book, Top of the Rock, is in stores. Now, I'm about halfway through it. It's really good. Easy to read. No pictures, unfortunately.
No, there's pictures?
No, I mean little cartoon drawings. I like it like Spider-Man and Superman. I like comic books better. But you should have done it. Is there going to come out a comic book version of your book that I could read?
Now there will be.
Yeah. Warren Littlefield.
The graphic.
The graphic novel.
Graphic novel.
That's right. Warren Littlefield, responsible for so many shows that all of us love so much. And the stories are endless. I only tapped into maybe a minuscule, a fraction of the stories that are in the book.
Do you still love television? Are you still watching?
I love television.
What's your favorite show right now, Warren Littlefield?
America's Got Talent.
Of course. You got to admit, I'm pretty great in it.
Howard, you tell the truth.
That's right.
You always have told the truth.
Is it fair to say I'm America's judge?
Howard, you are the reason to go to the show. I mean, it was a good show before. It celebrates talent.
Yeah,
right?
I love doing it, actually.
I could tell.
I do.
By the way, how good of a partner are you? Because you're out there working for the show.
Yes.
You are a partner to the network. Now, it only took 15 years for you to finally come around and embrace television.
Well, I'm enjoying it. You know what? I wouldn't have done it, but I like that show. I like America's Got Talent.
By the way, they shoot the hell out of you. I mean, you look great. The opening credits and everything.
I told you I'm handsome at certain angles. You never listened. You said I couldn't be handsome.
I wanted you.
I know you did. He did.
Yeah?
Yeah. They were going to throw out Conan and put me on after Letterman. They were. Warren wanted it.
I wanted to explore being in business with Howard.
I'm too busy for you.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, Warren Littlefield, thank you. And the book is terrific. It's called Top of the Rock. Go get a copy. You'll like it a lot. And by the way, thank you for my gift as well. Robin, do you know what I'm going to get for this?
We talked about that episode. I remember when it first aired, and we sort of took credit for the ability of a network television show to actually talk about masturbation.
Well, the funny thing was that Jerry used to come in and promote the show all the time when it was Seinfeld Chronicles and it wasn't doing well. And I used to say to him, as soon as you have a hit with your show, if it becomes a hit, you'll never come in again. And he never did. It was the funniest thing. He was like, yeah, I don't like being here anymore than I have to, Howard, but I'm willing to promote this dumb show if you will. And you know what's crazy? My father watches Seinfeld every night, even in reruns, and can actually recite every episode. And I've seen maybe 2 or 3 episodes of Seinfeld. I never actually, and it's not that I just never watched it.
You're in for a treat when you finally do.
Because it's so good.
Your father, who, by the way, pretty smart man.
Yes.
Knew how to counsel you.
Yes.
Tough, but smart.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
My son I wish my son knew any of the things he studied in college as well as he knows
Seinfeld.
Every episode of Seinfeld, every scene.
Do you, what does your son do? Does he want to be a network president?
Actually, he's coming out of an acting program, and he'll be out there in the world this summer.
You supportive of that?
You didn't discourage him?
He came to it on his own. I just wanted to be happy.
Right.
As a parent, you want your kids to be fulfilled.
Well, he's got to try it.
Yeah. That's a tough life, you
That's
know.
Right. Look at this. Signed copy of Seinfeld's last script is going for $3,000 on eBay. So I'm
and if it's yours, I'm sure that adds to its value.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, maybe I'll buy a car with it. All right. Well, and tell your son the Andy Dick story, just in case it gets sold. All right. And so Warren Littlefield, everybody, Top of the Rock is the book in stores now, and we'll be back right after these words. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Warren.
Yeah.
Quite an interview.
So much fun. I miss Howard. I watch him, I listen to him, but it's wonderful to be with him in his house, right here.
As a network president, you've seen and evaluated so much talent and so many shows. What makes Howard and his show so sustainable and so successful for such a long time?
Howard is so connected to the truth. No matter where he is, who he's talking to, his ability to just open someone up and get to the truth makes Howard so brilliant and so unique. And by the way, he makes that discussion so interesting and entertaining at the same time. Those values just can't be found. And the sustainability. He's so committed to what he does. I'm in awe of him.
That's great. And you mentioned how you respected your audience while you were programming, while you had to have that mutual. They would reward you if you respected them. Do you feel Howard does the same thing with his audience?
Howard gives and gives and gives, and each and every day we hear what his audience thinks. We look at the numbers, and we hear that passionate audience calling in and giving Howard feedback. It's an incredible relationship, and NBC is so lucky to be in business with this man. This is a great partner.
Thank you for your time. Top of the Rock. Go get it. Download it. Pick it up.
Cheers. Thanks.